You know, everybody heard the news about Carolyn Bryant Donald uh, passing away. A lot of people was upset that she passed away and she wasn't in prison, but hey, I guess they can only bring Nazis to justice. Old white women, old white American women, they can't be brought to actual justice as well too. So I guess they can only bring old white women to justice. So first, I'm gonna make you a co-host tonight. Ray, what's going on, man? What's up, Ray?
Now, I was gonna ask, was Jerry Springer sick? Did anybody know about that?
Oh, I don't know. I just saw that he had died earlier, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
if he was sick or not.
They said he had an illness. They said he had a brief illness, man. Then after that, he just died at home. It was just crazy. I know. It's like everybody's just dropping like all of a sudden, man, just dropping like flies, man. And if you look over the last 3 years, celebrities have been just dropping dead. Jamie Foxx has had a stroke out of nowhere, an alleged stroke out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ray, didn't they say something about he's in Atlanta? Is that where he's at right now? To be honest, I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, it looked like I had heard that he was in some hospital in Atlanta. Now, Original might know, because I know he's in that area. Original, what have you heard about Jamie Foxx being down your way? Yeah, he's still a listener, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure myself. You know what's going on? What was going on with the whole Jamie Foxx thing as well? Either I just know he was sick, and you know he's better now. So at least he appears to be better, I guess.
Yeah, they say he's in Piedmont Hospital here in Atlanta. So yeah, from what I hear, they say he had a stroke. Now I don't know how truthful this is, but I heard someone say that he did a movie during the height of COVID, and they said that everyone, the cast and crew, everyone had to take the jab. So some people are speculating that may have had something to do with it. I don't know. That's one of the rumors that's going around. But I mean, it's interesting that you find a lot of the people. I didn't take the jab. I just didn't feel comfortable doing it, so I didn't take it. But there seems to be quite a number of people who took the jab that they're having all kind of issues now, and some of them are just collapsing and dying or whatever. And then I don't know how true this is. I saw something online where they were saying someone was suing somebody for regarding that vaccine. But I'm like, these people had to sign a waiver to take that crap. So I don't know. It's just a lot of speculation out there. So
maybe, I want everybody to understand with this jab, this is why Republicans, and I'm saying Republicans because they were the one party that was saying before we pass any type of legislation for COVID relief, we want you guys, the Democrats, to make sure that you agree that these Pfizer's, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna would not be up for being sued. They had a bill that they put in there, a clause they put into that COVID relief package that these companies could not be sued in case people did get sick. And that tells me they knew people could potentially get sick from out of this. That's why they had to throw that up in that bill.
Yeah, they put that in there. This came from like the 1970s. It was like late 70s, early 80s, where they had this. I think it was the swine flu or something like that. And if you go on YouTube, type in 60-minute swine flu, it should come up. There was this lady. She was very active lady in her community and church and stuff, and she took that shot and it jacked her the hell up. She had to end up wearing. Y'all remember seeing people that may have worn some of these martyrdine braces on their legs, if their legs wasn't strong enough to walk, and they would have to wear these braces to help, keep them to brace them so that they could walk.
Hey, real quick, y'all, because I don't want to get too far off, because I want to go ahead and actually start touching up on the topics, because I know we're talking about the COVID and we talking about Jamie Foxx and Jerry Springer. We can hit that up in a little bit, but let me start off and give a shout out first and foremost to everybody coming up in the space. Let me go ahead and get the actual discussion rolling, because we got quite a few things I want to cover tonight. I want to start off talking about Harry Belafonte. I also want to talk about, of course, Carolyn Bryant, Emmett Till's accuser, who passed away and died. I also want to talk about Breonna Taylor, the officer that actually shot her, finding employment as well too. So let me go ahead real quick and go ahead and touch up on this real quick about the Harry Belafonte, and then we're gonna go ahead and move it around. But real quick, y'all, from the Defender Network, this was curated by Newstoter.com. The actual article I have for Harry Belafonte is actually not the one that matches the article I'm reading either, guys. So let me go ahead real quick. Shout out to you, Brother McCoo. Thank you for the contribution. It says, true icon, artist, activist, Harry Belafonte dies at 96. This is a kind of lengthy little article, so I'm going to try to shorten it up because I don't want to read it all, but I think we all get the gist about Harry Belafonte. Let's be honest, the words legend and icon are overused far too often, describing individuals who don't really measure up to the hype. But in the case of Harry Belafonte, neither legend nor icon is big enough to capture all that Belafonte meant to Black people, to the culture, and to the world. By now, you more than likely heard the news that the legendary artist, activist, and icon Belafonte died. He was 96 at his passing, truly a ripe old age. However, even as a young man, Belafonte was wise beyond his years, an old soul in the body of a Black man who carried with him a youthful and self-determined spirit that refused to allow him to ever be comfortable with society's attempt to treat him like a second-class citizen. Hell, American citizenship alone wasn't big enough to define this Harlem-born brother who was raised for a good deal of his young life in Jamaica. Belafonte was always a world citizen, and as such, America's brand of world superpower racism was never powerful enough, try as it might, to get the singer, actor, director to ever believe he was second class to anyone. A rep for Belafonte confirmed that the legendary singer and member of the exclusive EGOT club passed away due to congestive heart failure at his New York home. But I dare say Belafonte's heart for justice, equality continues to beat and will never be silenced. Freedom fighter, we got to see him as an influential figure within both the world of arts and the global space of civil and human rights. Had Belafonte ended his contributions to society with his barrier-breaking work in Hollywood in the 1950s and 60s, becoming one of the first and most charismatic Black leading men, he would deserve our accolades, but he didn't stop there. Belafonte tells the story in multiple documentaries about leading the main roles he continued, about leading man roles he turned down because he sought to display Black people and Black manhood in a particular light that was beneath his dignity. He even turned down roles that respected Black manhood, but that in his eyes didn't make sense in the context of the 1950s and 60s Black reality. What I'm trying to say is, long before Belafonte became known for his work as an activist, he was already an activist advocating for Black peoplehood. But if you just checked out his movie credits alone, it makes for a groundbreaking career. We of this current time view the 2018 movie Black Panther as a powerful moment for the culture that reverberated beyond movie theaters, and it certainly was, but it wasn't the only one ever. Belafonte was one of the headlining actors in one of the past moments where he co-starred with Dorothy Dandridge in Carmen Jones' 1959, a classic still. And during the 1950s to 60s decade, Belafonte starred in other provocative and progressive movies like Island in the Sun, 1957, and The World, the Flesh, and the Devil, 1959. And when Hollywood would not allow Belafonte to star in and direct the kinds of films he believed reflected Black excellence, he gave his acting career the deuces and toured the globe as one of the biggest, most in-demand singer, musician, entertainers on the planet. In doing so, Belafonte gained unashamedly celebrated his Blackness, putting the music of Africa and Calypso music front and center. And if you want some context for his impact in the music world, Belafonte earned the first gold record in history after selling over 1 million LPs for his 1956 album Calypso, a piece of work that remained on the Billboard Top Pop album charts for 31 weeks. After roughly a decade of retirement from acting, Belafonte returned to the silver screen in a big way. In 1970, he starred in the movie The Angel Levine, playing an angel when many in white society were still arguing that Blacks were subhuman. Interesting enough, the promotional tagline for the movie was, "If he's an angel, imagine what God is like." I have no proof that Belafonte had something to do with writing that line, but I sure enough wouldn't doubt that he did. Belafonte also starred in Buck and the Preacher, a black western co-starring his friend, the late Sidney Poitier, and the hit Uptown Saturday Night, where he played the iconic character Geechee Dan as a member of a star-studded cast with Poitier, Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, Rosalind Cash, Paula Kelly, Flip Wilson, Kevin Lockhart, and more. But it was Belafonte's work in the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement, Black Power movements, and his continued advocacy for Pan-African rights, a battlefield he occupied until his final day that cemented his position as an African ancestor on par with our greatest people. Belafonte was a close friend of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who supported King, the SCLC, and various movement activities. He was even one of the organizers for the historic 1963 March on Washington, providing much needed funds that helped civil rights movements, including the Freedom Rides and more. Belafonte's influence was so powerful he was able to get other entertainers to publicly support the March on Washington and other movement actions. At the March on Washington, for example, Belafonte was joined by fellow giants in the arts and humanitarian spaces such as Poitier, James Baldwin, Diane Carroll, Sammy Davis Jr., Ruby Dee, Ozzie Davis, Marlon Brando, Paul Newman, and others. And FYI, if you're on Instagram, please check out Michael Harriet's post Top 10 Crazy Stories about Harry Belafonte. It provides backgrounds on stories like when Belafonte, at the height of the civil rights movement and the white domestic terrorism that was aimed at the movement participants, carried a bag filled with $70,000 to deliver to the Mississippi Freedom School and had to literally dodge the KKK and safeguard both his life and those funds to complete his mission. And that's not even the craziest story. Belafonte also helped to organize the USA for Africa Project 1985 and the effort that gave life to the song We Are the World. It is probably easy to list the movements Belafonte wasn't involved in because whenever there was a fight for human rights, he was there, lending his voice, support, and presence. He gave countless scheduled and impromptu talks with young people, high school and college students, and community center youth, sharing his wisdom and life lessons similar to what he did in the final movie role in the Spike Lee directed the Black Klansman. A 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, Belafonte garnered countless awards for his artistry and activism. Some of those awards include the Kennedy Center Honors for Excellence in the Performing Arts, the Nelson Mandela Courage Awards, and the National Medal of Arts from President Bill Clinton, the NAACP prestigious Spingarn Medal, and countless other. Belafonte is survived by his wife, Pamela, 4 children, 2 stepchildren, 8 grandchildren, and he's survived by generations of members of Pan-African family who have directly or indirectly benefited from his commitment to art, activism, justice for the people of African diaspora and the planet. So just to sum up a couple things about Harry Belafonte, who was a true legend. Rest in peace to him. He did a lot for the black race. So I know we have some people that may say that he was a Pan African or whatever, but Harry Belafonte, he not only talked the talk, but he walked the walk as well too. So he lived a great life. He died at 96 years of age. He outlived most people that's alive today not going to see 96 years of age. And he did what he had to. He could have done if he just focused solely on his career and making money and trying to further himself as a star. He could have done even a lot more in terms of Hollywood and music and stuff like that. But he did have some principles and he stood on it. So peace to Harry Belafonte. Ray, I know you got your hand up. You want to go ahead and say something?
Yes, people obviously first going to say rest in peace to Harry Belafonte, man, a true ride or die. But what I'm here to talk about, I'm waiting for you to get to it, is Carolyn Bryant, man. I'm sorry. I don't like to, speak ill of the dead, but if there's any person on this earth that deserves what they got, it is that woman. Because obviously, I consider her like the godmother of white supremacy. I really do. Because it was her actions that, kicked off the civil rights movement, that obviously led to death of Emmett Till and all this other stuff. This one woman, she got to live a full life having a doggone warrant on her that she had since, I believe, 1955 or so. She's had a warrant all this time, and the police did absolutely nothing to try to bring this woman to justice. Evidently, she's too old, but Bill Cosby's young enough. That makes no sense. And I know I'm kind of just preaching to the crowd, but I got to get out of my system, man. Because I've been quiet in the space. I haven't been really saying anything. But this right here, I hate to say it, but it made my day. I have been waiting on this day. I was really, I'm not going to say what I really think because it's a recorded space, but I just say that I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it's over with, and I hope Mamie Till someone can finally get some type of justice. And if there is a God, I really hope that Mamie Till is cutting up with. I hope she's giving her the worst ass whooping of her life. And I'm going to land now.
Okay, and we're gonna touch up on that because that's a very quick article from Black Enterprise. I'm gonna touch up on this one real quick, a quicker article from about Breonna Taylor. This is from the Defender Network, and then I'm gonna go right into the one with about Carolyn Bryant. So just give me 1 second, y'all, and I will definitely get to y'all. This is from the Defender Network. Breonna Taylor's killer has a new job in law enforcement. A former Louisville police officer who fired the fatal shot that killed Breonna Taylor has a new job in law enforcement, a controversial hiring that drew protesters to rural Kentucky County northeast of the city. The Carroll County Sheriff's Office on Saturday confirmed the employment of Miles Cosgrove, who was fired from Louisville Metro Police Department in January 2021 for violating use of force procedures and failing to use body camera during the raid on Taylor's apartment, according to media reports. About a dozen people showed up in downtown Carlton Monday morning to object to his hiring, holding signs and chanting, "Cosgrove has got to go. I think he should be in jail," said Haley Wilson, a 24-year-old resident of the small Kentucky town near the Ohio River. She said it is absolutely ridiculous that Cosgrove is now policing her town. Investigators said that Cosgrove fired 16 rounds into the apartment after Taylor's front door was breached during a narcotics raid on March 13, 2020. Thinking an intruder was breaking in, Taylor's boyfriend fired a shot from a handgun at the officers. Officer Jonathan Mattingly was struck in the leg, and the officers returned fire, killing Taylor in the hallway. An FBI investigation determined that Cosgrove and Mattingly struck Taylor, a 26-year-old black woman, and that Cosgrove likely fired the fatal shot. Neither officer was charged by a 2020 state grand jury in Taylor's death, and a 2-year investigation by the FBI also cleared Cosgrove and Mattingly of any charges. The FBI probe found that other superior officers had crafted a faulty drug warrant that contained false information about Taylor. U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland said in August that the officers who went to Taylor's apartment with the warrant were not involved in drafting the warrant affidavit and were not aware that it was false. Robert Miller, chief deputy in Carroll County, pointed out that Cosgrove was cleared by the state grand jury when speaking of his hiring at the small Kentucky Sheriff's Department. In November, the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council voted not to revoke Cosgrove's state peace officer certification. That meant he could apply for other law enforcement jobs in the state. Brett Hankerson, an officer who fired shots but didn't hit anybody during the raid, was found not guilty by a jury of wanton endangerment charges, but he was still awaits trial on federal civil rights charges for his actions during the raid, as do 2 other officers who were involved in obtaining the warrant. A 3rd officer pleaded guilty to conspiracy and crafting the warrant. There is no national database of officers who resign or fired in misconduct cases, meaning a lot of cases they can apply for jobs in other police agencies and departments. In some cases, agencies that hire officers who are fired somewhere else may be unaware of the officer's history because they failed to do a proper background check, said Ben Grunwald, a Duke University Law School professor and co-author of a study published in 2020 on so-called wandering officers, or those fired by one agency who later find work at another. In Cosgrove's case, however, his attorney was highly publicized. In some cases, it is possible the hiring agency sees a previously fired officer's history as a benefit rather than a risk, Grunwald said. Maybe that's exactly what they want. He said maybe they are looking for a cowboy cop who has gotten in trouble in the past, but think that they got a bad shake. Okay, guys, real quick, let me touch up on the Carolyn Bryant thing, and then y'all can get ready to dive in. Black Enterprise, it should be in a Jumbotron. White woman who claimed Emmett Till whistled at her dies at 88. Carolyn Bryant Donham, the white woman who accused Emmett Till of harassment in Mississippi, which led to his lynchings in 1955, has died at 88 years of age, according to Mississippi Today. Donham died after battling cancer and received end-of-life hospice care in her last days. Devery Anderson, the author of Emmett Till, The Murder That Shocked the World and Propelled the Civil Rights Movement, stated that all hope is lost for those who wanted her prosecuted. She was the last remaining person who had any involvement, he said. Now that can't happen. He continued with his perspective that her death may cause some to feel as though justice was never served. Some others were clinging to the hope that she might still talk or tell the truth. Now it's over. Till's family, including cousin Willa Parker, extended condolences to the woman's family. We don't have any ill will or animosity toward her, Parker said, adding that the 14-year-old's victim mother, Mamie Till Mobley, forgave those involved in her son's killing. Black Enterprise reported in February that the family member of Till filed a lawsuit demanding that Lafleur County, Mississippi Sheriff present an arrest warrant to Dunham for her role in the teen's murder. In 2022, an unpublished memoir by Dunham claimed that she tried to protect the young boy from her husband and brother-in-law who kidnapped the boy in the middle of the night, beat him, and killed him. Reportedly, she told her husband Till wasn't the one who allegedly whistled at her, encouraging the men to take him back. A Mississippi grand jury declined to indict Dunham on any charges back in 2007. According to a fact-of-death letter from the parish coroner, CNN reported that Dunham died Tuesday in Westlake, Louisiana. All righty, y'all. So peace to everybody that's coming up in the space as well, too. Peace to you guys coming up in the space. As you we're talking about Harry Belafonte, just giving him props for the life he lived. Of course, we had to mention Breonna Taylor's killer, who just got employment once again. He's working. He's back in law enforcement. And of course, the story today, I think everybody would agree would most definitely have to be Carolyn Bryant, the fact that she passed away. She never justice was never served in that case as well, too. So I know we got a number of hands up here. So I'm gonna get the Black Native. Then I'm gonna get to Brother McCoo. I saw you had your hand up. Ray, I got you again too. I'm gonna get to you. And of course, Professor, you're a host, co-host, so you come up pretty much whenever you get a chance or whatever. So let's go ahead and kick it. Black Native, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Peace to the room. Peace to Professor Ray, Brother Muko. Let me touch on Harry Belafonte first. Great man, great activist. I literally just watched a movie of his called Island in the Sun. It was made in 1957, and it also had Dorothy Dandridge in it. And my mother put me on to him. When the first movie I ever saw was Carmen Jones, and that was with Dorothy Dandridge. He played Joe, the soldier, who fell in love with her and, became obsessed with her. And, at the end, it led to her demise. He unalived her. But that was really like the first movie that I remember with Harry Belafonte. And then he had another movie. He was in, I think, Uptown Saturday Night.
Oh, yeah. That was a classic, too.
Classic. He was the man with I think he was the head number runner with them. He used to crack the raw eggs and drink them. I remember that. He was
Geechee Dan Buford. He was supposed to be like the black version of the Godfather.
Right, because he had the cotton in his mouth. I remember that, and I remember he played in another movie called White Man's Burden, and that was like a reversal of if black people were in power and white people were the servants. It was like updated roots, but in reverse. So, and I remember, his activist work. I seen pictures of him with Martin Luther King's wife, Coretta Scott King, at the funeral, right next to her, crying. So he like you said, he could have did anything. I learned so much about him that I didn't even know. They said he was the first person ever to have a gold record, to have 1 million records sold. That was before Michael Jackson. That was before Elvis Presley. He was the first. And I heard he was the first black man to do kiss a white woman on screen. And I thought that movie that I watched, Island in the Sun, I thought that was it. And that was about interracial relationships and, people in the Caribbean. So I just want to give tribute to that man. He was a great man. He lived a long life, and he did what he was supposed to do on this planet. And if you don't mind, I want to speak about Carolyn Bryant. If you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I play a song real quick? I was in Afro Elite School, and we thought about coming up with a holiday today. You know, we're gonna sing this because this is what it's about, y'all.
Hey, Black Native, I was gonna say that's probably that's probably because they already trying to hit the channel already with strikes and stuff now.
Okay. I turned it off. We should be dancing. I mean, it's sad that, you know, his mother didn't live to see this old raggedy bitch spend the last of her miserable days in a jail cell. 3 cots, 3 hot plates in a cot. That's what she should have got. But, you know, she lived her life, remarried, got to have grandkids. You know, she got to live her life, but she destroyed this young man's life and his family's life, but she also set it off for the civil rights movement. And I had to look to find out what happened. Was it Rosa Parks or was it Emmett Till? Emmett Till died in August of 1955, and Rosa Parks decided not to sit in the back of the bus in December of 1955. And I was talking to my mother. She said she was, I think, 9 or 10 years old when he died. We was talking about it today. And she said she remembered Rosa Parks saying that the reason why she didn't get up was because she thought about Emmett Till. So, you know, this is what set off the chain of motions for us for our civil rights. She is the OG Karen. She is the epitome of white supremacy. I hope she rots in hell. I hope they don't cremate her body. So if they have a burial, we should be there cooking out, you know, set up our speakers and shit and disrupt it. If we find out where she's buried at, take your dog and let him shit on her grave every day. This is how I feel. And Ray, you talking about, you know, you wasn't taught to speak badly about the dead, but this is a demon. So I don't have no sympathy. Ray, she rotten pissed. And, you know, it is what it is. This is a long time coming. She should have been dead 60 years ago. But, you know, that wasn't the plan. But, you know, she's gone now. My mother said she wrote a memoir. And they said they're not going to release her memoir until 2036, when she's long gone and everybody's supposed to forget what she did. So this is when they're going to release this memoir that she wrote. Now, when you read that article, when you watched the actual trial, she sat back. Her husband, it was like a mock. It was a joke. They were smoking cigarettes because they knew they wasn't going to be found, you know, guilty of murdering him. So, you know, she'd been hidden. The government was hiding her. Her family was hiding her because she was literally not too far from where I was, and I didn't even know she was here until they started shuffling her around. But, you know, she's dead now. Hope she don't get no rest. And, you know, that's all I can say about that old scallywag. Let me speak about the cop. You know, white people doing what white people do. You know, they don't get fired. They just, you know, get another job somewhere else. And unfortunately, he's in law enforcement again. I hope he's sitting behind a desk and they do not give this man the authority to walk the streets with a weapon in his hand. So, you know, people, this is white supremacy. So, you know, we're seeing it with Carolyn Bryant. We're seeing it with this officer, and Harry Belafonte fought to stop against white supremacy. So it's all tied in with this topic right here, what you're talking about. And I that's all I really have to say. I just hope that, you know, if we find out where she's buried at, we roll up, have a cookout, blast our music, and disrespect her because she don't deserve no honor and no respect. And I'm kind of mad that my mother told me that that the families was on that we forgive. Why? I don't understand. Why do Black people always have to take the high road? See, I'm with when it comes to white supremacy. If you go, I'm not going. If you go high, I'm not going high. If you go low, I'm going all the way low. I'm getting petty and I'm doing it because we shouldn't accept it. This should not be tolerated. We don't need to forgive these people. She never asked for anybody's forgiveness. She lied until she died. So I don't get why we always have to feel that we have to forgive somebody. Where's that? I know that's Christianity. Christianity is like a drug, it's worse than crack to some people, because that's the only way I could think of it. If you kill my family, I'm not forgiving you. For what? I'm going to land my plane. I'm disgusted. I'm landing my plane.
All right, Black Native. Thank you. Let me go ahead and go to Brother Muku. I see you up in the spot. What's going on tonight? You there, Brother Muku?
Yeah, I'm here.
You sound like you might be in the Matrix.
Definitely was up. I share a lot of sentiments that my sister Black Native just said. I think I feel the same way about Carolyn Bryant. I'll go opposite. In that order, I'll go counterclockwise. Carolyn Bryant, she shouldn't even got the chance to die of natural causes. She definitely should have been put in the cell. Compensatory justice, I feel, left in the cell with her words, with her lies that killed Emmett till she starved to death or killed herself first to go where Emmett was to apologize. She got the chance to live her life, which I think she shouldn't have had. And, she got to, I don't think she got to go where Emmett went to apologize. So, therefore, I still feel like we lost because, bitch was free until she died. She'll get no more of my words. Breonna Taylor. Yeah, the white supremacists, they never get hung for their crimes. They just get transferred, like Black Native said, like Neely Fuller and Francis Cress Wellesley always said, as far as this white supremacist, I just, we just got to keep calling them up, pull up to their personal jobs if can, and give them hell, the same type of hell that, he gave Breonna. Harry Belafonte, definitely class one. I can't even say anything else to add to what Black Native said about him. He definitely paid for Coretta and her children's welfare and well-being for a few years after Martin Luther King Jr. passed. I found that out in the space earlier, so I definitely wanted to give my rest in power shouts out to Harry Belafonte. And I haven't heard anybody mention our warrior lawyer, Automatics, definitely passed away. I want to give a shout out to him, a rest in power to Automatics. He was a Black warrior lawyer, and nobody ever heard of him. Just look him up. Definitely done a lot of great work with Dr. Ben, getting a lot of Dr. Ben's affair and Dr. Clark's affairs in order. Automatics, the warrior lawyer, definitely responsible for that. I think that's all I wanted to say. I think I'll land there. Keep it short and sweet.
All right, thank you, Brother McCoo. Let me go ahead and get to Ray was up here, but Ray must have dropped now. So Ray, if you want to come back up here when you get a chance. Let me go ahead and kick it to let me go to Phoenix, and then we got you, Professor.
God bless you all. Thank you for having me, Toter, DJ, Professor, and all the speakers. And I just want to touch on what Black Native said, too. I want to talk about collective consciousness, and I want to build on the forgiveness aspect. And we know that there's power in forgiveness in terms of us being able to move on and to prevent bitterness from setting in. But I want to also talk about how that type of consciousness becomes our collective consciousness. And then it starts to morph into us having these fruition or manifest in our lives as a collective group. So I think that when we, take on, I forgive them. Oh, yeah, I forgive them. Then that somehow radiates into everyone and radiates into it's not stopping. So we need to not be so quick to forgive people that are terrorizing us continuously. And obviously it started, way back in the day, and it continues on. And I truly believe that something about this forgiveness thing perpetuates it. So I'm gonna leave that alone because that starts to get a little sketchy. But kind of it does perpetuate the continuous violence that we continue to experience. But now I want to say, God bless Harry Belafonte and everything that he contributed to Black people here in America and globally. He had much courage, was totally dedicated to the movement and to our liberation. So God bless him. Rest easy, rest in peace, rest in power, and to his family. I'm sure that they are celebrating his legacy as they should, because that's you celebrate a man like that, and you celebrate the fact that his presence blessed this planet. So that is definitely a celebration of life. The Breonna Taylor situation and the officer that has a new job. Now, see, this is what the anti-Black hate crime bill would do, right? So in our bill that we need to get signed and passed is a provision in there. So if you are found, to perpetuate violence and murder and things like that while wearing a uniform, you should never or be able to find a job in law enforcement, nor should any of your family members, right? Because it doesn't start with one person. That's a culture of things that's passed along, and it's been passed along forever in this country. So you nor your family should be able to be in law enforcement. And then that's just one provision. But if we have something like that passes, that would shift, maybe shift some of the things that are happening to us in these streets. And I'll land there. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate you coming up tonight. Let me give a shout out to Goddess. Goddess, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Thank you, sister. Definitely appreciate that. Okay, let me go ahead and get to
And I want to say this, when I do my Cash App, it's not under fee. So I just want to let you know I do contribute, but it's just not under fee.
Okay, appreciate that, sister. Thank you. Let me go ahead real quick. All right, let me see. Let's go to Professor. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic. And I see you up here too. So I don't know if you want to speak, but if you do, just go ahead and raise your hand and we'll get to you as well.
Yeah, thank you there, bro. I just have to go in and peace and power, reparations, and love to everybody in the space tonight. I'm heartbroken, but at the same time, very happy that this low down snaky bitch is dead. And I know as a young man that was raised up in the church, my mom wouldn't want me to talk like this. She's going on with the Lord. My mom wouldn't want me to talk that way. But this particular individual that passed away, Carolyn Bryant, you're a low down, no good, evil bitch. And I hope you burn in hell. And I hope Mammy Till and all the Till family that has passed on, and any other our Black American family that have died at the hands of white supremacy, are whipping your ass in hell and whipping your ass anywhere all over, wherever, purgatory, heaven. Well, you're not in heaven, that's for sure. You're definitely not there. But wherever your ass is at, I hope they're gonna tear your ass up. You low down, sneaky, no good bitch that caused this young man
14 years old, to be killed. And y'all, I watched the documentary 2 days ago. And I cried because that could have been any of us. That could have been any of us, as we know the history of what happens to young black men or black men in general in this country when no good ass snaky white women lie on you. So I'm sorry to be cussing. I apologize, family. But when I heard about her death today, I had to take a shot. That's right, I took a shot. Glorious to the Lord. The bitch is gone. And that sounds very bad to mention the Lord's name and saying that I'm glad this motherfucker is dead. But y'all, Black Native said something very 100. And Black Native always speaks to 100. Now that's one thing about her. She brings the fire and she's 100 on that fire. And that is, we can't accept this whole thing about forgiving anymore. We can't do it anymore, y'all. We too quick to forgive. I just want to say that on that. And I'm going to go on to Harry Belafonte. Rest in peace to a legend. Rest in peace to the activist, a father, husband, a man of integrity, a man that he stood on the side of righteousness, and he was definitely out there on the line. And rest in peace to you, King. Rest in peace to you. This idiot, that's the cop. This is what they do in America, y'all. They pass these degenerates on to the next station or the next municipality or the next county. They do it all the time. I wish we could get some legislation on the books where we could stop these damn cops who are out here doing evil, low-down shit from being able to go to other police departments or sheriff's departments or the FBI, whatever. We need to keep these motherfuckers out of law enforcement because they're going to go to another municipality or another county and they're going to commit another crime. Because let's be honest, guys. These people wear badges and they're supposed to be all about protecting or I should say protecting and serving, as they like to call it, protect and serve. But they're not doing that. They're committing more crimes than the actual criminals are. You really can't tell the criminals from the folks with the badges. I mean, I'm sorry. And I know a lot of people in here would say, because, you know, Bobo rants, wherever he is, I'm surprised he's not up in here. But I know he's here.
He's here, Professor. He's at the bottom. He's here.
Well, tell that Negro to come up here, Uncle Tom Negro. But anyway.
Chill, now chill.
I know, man. I know. I'm sorry. This Negro would get up in these spaces and say that we need these motherfuckers, right? But Black America, when we call these motherfuckers, chances are you're going to end up dead. Or you're going to end up beat up, abused. So I ask you, Black family, do you really want police officers up in your neck of the woods? Do you really want them? Because every time we look at videos, what do? They come into your community to tear your ass up and beat you down, abuse you, shoot you, whatever. I don't think we want them in our neighborhoods, especially the ones that we know that's about white supremacy. In this system, we don't want them here. Now, Bobo's talks about we got to have some law and order. You can have law and order. And one thing about it, we get reparations, we can set up a system of our own where we have some law and order. But one thing for sure, this system that we in right now, you're not going to get any law and order, y'all. These motherfuckers are committing crimes in our communities. They're not helping our community. They're committing crimes in the community. You scared to call them. I know I'm scared to call them. I don't really want to call the bastards. Because they'll come in trying to do something to you, and you the victim, right? You the victim, you trying to get help. These motherfuckers don't even see you as a victim. They see you as being the criminal. Automatically, you a criminal. You're black. See? You're black in America. Your skin is automatically a criminal code. But let's get ready to shoot your damn ass, and let's get ready to beat you down. All right, family. Let's carry on. This is a good space tonight. I want to hear what everybody got to say. Everybody need to come up tonight. These are good topics. Newstoter always have good topics. And while y'all at it, you ain't here talking. We donating that money. And if you got caucus or a hand, don't come up here until you change your hands, okay? I love y'all. I land my plane there.
All right. Real quick, let me just say, and I know Vovo, because I saw that hand come up. Vovo, I don't believe you to be no Uncle Tom or whatever. I just want to let you know that we have disagreements on conversations and topics and stuff like that. But I don't believe anybody actually attends these spaces in here is an Uncle Tom. So I just want to go ahead and put that. I know Vovo gonna say something on that tip, so I know he already raised his hand. But I just want to let you know that no.
Hey, Vovo, that's for the other day for calling me country, you Negro. But anyway.
Well, I'm just gonna put it out there so nobody believes that, Vovo. So just to let you know that, bro. So let me go ahead. Detroit. I know Detroit came up here, but I'm trying. Detroit. I think was Detroit before Black Pressure. I think Detroit was he before Black Pressure. Detroit, I think you were before Black Pressure. So go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead and go.
Appreciate it, Newstoter. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks for letting me speak in your space, man. To address the topic, I heard a lot of good stuff about Harry Belafonte. I know he was Caribbean, or at least I understand that he's Caribbean, but I understand that he did a lot of things for Black Americans, fight for our rights, long-term civil rights advocate. So, may he rest in paradise. Breonna Taylor's the cop who shot her. That's really no surprise. It's messed up that something like that would happen. But we know they get down, that they do, just transfer, one crooked cop to another crooked cop station, whatever. As they get down, it's messed up. More needs to be done about it than just, complaining. And as far as Carolyn Bryant, I think, I'm not knocking anybody's. A lot of people mad, calling out her name, and I get it. I feel your pain. But people are mad at her, and what she did was foul. But, wasn't there like an arrest warrant for her that was never, executed? So it's like she was only allowed to do that because of the system. I think more, at least from my point of view, more attitude is directed towards the police officers and the city and whoever who wouldn't arrest her than it is necessarily directed towards her herself. It was a lot of people that allowed her to walk around. I wouldn't expect her to turn herself in, and I hope she had, a life of sleepless nights. And may she burn in, wherever the hell she's at. That I hope it's not heaven. But I think the issue I have is really that she was never arrested because the people who could have arrested her never did. And that's messed up. And what's that I was saying? Good riddance to bad rubbish. So I'm not gonna miss her. I really wish that she could have went to jail last week and then died this week. I would have preferred to see some type of time in prison for what she did. It was wrong what she did. And I end there. Thanks.
No, right. And let me say this real quick about Harry Belafonte too, because like you made a point, Detroit, and you were saying that that even though he was from the Caribbean, which is true, he was a Jamaican-born person. But let me say this, and we hear the term Pan-African thrown around so much. Harry Belafonte would be the quintessential. He would be the absolute example of what Pan-Africanism is supposed to look like if it was done correctly. If you had people that actually followed the principle of Harry Belafonte, Black people will be unstoppable worldwide. So whenever people talk about Pan-Africanism, he needs to be the prime example when they look at Pan-Africanism, somebody who went ahead and put his money where his mouth was, whose actions always was based on Black people. He didn't come over here and say, well, you know what, I'm a Jamaican, or I'm a Caribbean, I'm this or that. He looked at himself as a Black man first and foremost. and he behaved like a black man, and his interests for black people were worldwide. So when people start talking about Pan-Africanism, if you really want to live by the principles of Pan-Africanism, then you definitely want to go ahead and model yourself after somebody like Harry Belafonte. Let me go ahead and get to Black Pressure. I know you had your hand up. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up, Black family? Nose, DJ, what's up?
What's up?
Hey, so check this out, Nose. I'm gonna say this, right? So I've never made it any secret in front of the family that religion is my mortal enemy. You've heard me speak about it. I don't hide it, right? So I know our good brother Professor spoke, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I should remember this. Was it Miss Phoenix spoke too? I don't know if I had her name right.
Yeah, Phoenix. She spoke earlier. Yeah.
Okay. So I did have it right. Okay, so Professor and Miss Phoenix spoke, right, and they evoked religion, which is no problem, But I want you to think about it like this. Why, like I say, News, why I always rail against religion until I die, right? And when I say religion, I'm namely speaking of Western religion, right? The religions when it came to this side of the world, the religions you and I grew up in, Sunday morning, foot stomping, hand clapping, Jesus rose on the third day, and don't judge nobody, and God is love, right? All of that. So we can say what we want about Carolyn Bryant, and I agree with Professor. Everything he said and works, right? But what if, just like the religion that so many black people hold to, what if Western religion is the truth, right? And that woman gave her life to Jesus Christ, right? And he forgave her of all her sins that she could live in paradise with him, right? What if that is true? What do we have to say about it now? Because like I've said before, Western religion teaches black people that the victim and the victimizer can get the same reward in the afterlife. So what does it matter what she did to Emmett Till if, like I say, the religion we hold dear to says they'll be walking together hand in hand in paradise? And I'll land my plane there.
Leave it up to Black Pressure to come with leave it to Black Pressure to come with something like this right here. I mean, what could you say if everything I'm saying, leave it up to Black Pressure to come with something like this. Like, hey, the only thing I can say Black Pressure is that people will say, hey, we still humans. So even though, she may be in the kingdom of heaven, we still hate her guts. So that's just human nature. They're gonna look, we ain't perfect and we still despise her.
Hey, let me say this too, but just real quick. Okay. Now, I'm a person, I always said this, I don't say it much. I'm a black supremacist. I think black people are superior to everyone on earth, right? Now, these people I don't necessarily always see eye to eye with, but one thing I do respect them for is you see those guys, the Israelite guys, on the corner street preaching, and the Nation of Islam. I respect those dudes because at least they took a religion and made it black. At least they in the ethos that they preach, the black man and the black woman, they have the advantage in the afterlife of no one else. And listen up.
All right, thank you. Let me go ahead and get the Volvo. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Like that, but they call my name, call me all the time. But let me say this, right? Come on, bro. Just stay on your mic, bro.
I can't hear you, dude. Well, I can hear you. What I was about to say, I can hear you.
Can anybody else hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can I be heard? I don't know if I can be heard.
Go ahead, man. You got it.
Go down and come back tomorrow.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah,
nigga. Yeah, these niggas trolling me, bro. This shit weird. Y'all niggas weird about me, bro. It's the men more than the women. You niggas call him. I'm in a listener section, nigga. Mad at my own business. I'm celebrating the death of this bitch. And here you niggas want to come. You niggas want my attention more than these bitches.
Hey, chill.
Y'all niggas older than me. Y'all niggas old enough to
Hey, Volvo, don't, like I say, man, don't worry about it, man. Just go ahead and say what you got to say.
Brother, you don't know how that shit feel. Every room I go in, here's some grown man trolling. Calling my name specific. That shit weird, man. Y'all niggas weird. You want some cleanup? You want some cleanup?
Okay, real quick, everybody, let Volvo go ahead and say it or whatever. Let go, because Volvo was chilling in the listener section. He wasn't bothering anybody, so let him go ahead. I know you pissed off, Volvo, so go ahead real quick and say, I just don't want to change the mood of this space, though, because we talking about some.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish, but that nigga need to clean it because he moist about me, he get wet about me. But anyway, I know that I've been hearing a lot of people speak about they shouldn't feel this way because of God and all that type of shit. Like I said earlier in the earlier space of my brother Afro Elite space. You know what I mean? It say in the Bible, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It say in the Bible that God hates. God hates in the Bible. God hates Carolyn Bryant. In the book of Proverbs, hold on, let me see if I can pull this up. So I was looking at it earlier because I remembered it. In the book of Proverbs, it says, I'm gonna read it. I've been drinking, so bear with me.
Wait a minute, man. You can be drinking then bringing the Bible to it, man. Damn it.
Brother, you can drink. Jesus drunk wine. Shut up. You don't read the Bible.
Oh, hey, man. Come on, man. Bobo, it ain't that serious, bro. Come on, man. Go ahead. Hey, man. Real talk. Professor, you're a co-host. So chill, Professor. Don't come off the mic. Pressure, don't come off the mic. Bobo, I'm going to go give you a couple minutes. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to go ahead and get your stuff out, man. And so we can go ahead and keep the actual floor of the space. I feel what you're saying, too. People talk about the forget. Yeah, I got you. Nobody's gonna come off the mic, so go ahead, man.
Bro, it's getting weird, and it's only the men though. It's only men doing that though. You niggas weird about me, but listen though, it's okay to drink. Jesus drunk wine. In the book of Proverbs, I'm gonna read this. Can I read this? God hate Carolyn Bryant. It said God hate. There are 6 things the Lord hates. 7 that are detestable to Him. Heartly eyes, that's Carolyn Bryant. A lying tongue, that's Carolyn Bryant. Hands that shed innocent blood, that's Carolyn Bryant. A heart that deceives, a heart that devises wicked schemes, that's Carolyn Bryant. Feet that are quick to rush to evil, that's Carolyn Bryant. A false witness who pours lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. That's in your Bible. Didn't she do all those things when she got Emmett Till killed? You can hold on. Let me do this. That's in the book of Proverbs. That's 6 and 16. You can read that for yourself. That describes her to a T. So anybody who really read the Bible and not my mama said, oh no, I heard, or it's supposed to be like this, or that Western religion, y'all ain't reading that shit. It's okay to hate that bitch. The Lord hate that bitch. I hate what the Lord hate. He hate her. I land my plane.
All right. Thank you, Volvo. Let me go ahead and get the goddess Justice. I see you up in here. Go ahead, because I know this sister, she was hot on the trail, and I know this is gonna be kind of bittersweet for you that this old nag went ahead and croaked today when y'all was trying to bring justice as well too. So go ahead, goddess, unmute your mic. FBA goddess up in the house.
Hey y'all.
How you doing, Justice? How you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. I did want to say that I was actually upset. I was in tears, not for that bitch, but because of the fact that my reason for doing all of this was for Mamie. And, knowing that everything that I was trying to do for her is for naught, because this government didn't know about where this bitch was at the whole time. And they have hid her, because the last we knew, she was in Mississippi, but she died in Louisiana. So that lets me know that she was, in hiding, and they helped her hide. Nobody can tell me anything different. So today, yes, I shed tears. because, you know, I was trying to get justice for Mamie. And if I couldn't do anything else, that's what I was trying to do for her. Now, to be talking about as far as, you know, they walking hand in hand, fuck that bitch. She ain't walking with no fucking hands in no heaven. No, I don't give a damn anything about what she said in the end. She never agreed or never admitted to her wrong. She did, and then she took it back. You cannot be walking hand in hand in no heaven if you never said, honestly, told the truth. She went to her grave a lie. And may she burn in eternal hell. Fuck that bitch. Wherever her grave is gonna be, I'm gonna be pissing on that shit. Fuck that bitch. You heard what I said. I'm forever gonna be. Her people still live in Raleigh, so I know where they live. I'm not gonna be going there trying to do anything, you know, to get my ass locked up or anything of that nature. Because you know the white people will call and try to get your ass locked up. But one thing I will be is a thorn in their damn side. Whatever the fuck I got to do, fuck that bitch and whoever related to her. Fuck you too. Thank you.
All righty. Like I said, I know you was hot on the trail and doing everything you could to try to bring some real justice as well too. So let me just go ahead and definitely give you a shout out for all of your time and effort that you put behind this case and trying to just bring some justice to that family as well too. So let me say that definitely, guys. Up in the jumbotron, we got the YouTube channel up in the jumbotron. Everybody, we got the YouTube channel up in there. Please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is the second on the left hand side. The second on the left hand side, we've been getting people to subscribe as the spaces have been going on, and that has been a great thing. So please, I would ask anybody that has not subscribed to the YouTube channel to go ahead and subscribe to it. Right now, we're live streaming, and so we're trying to build a YouTube platform up as well, too, guys. So go ahead and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, for those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American-owned news media curation platform today in America. You can donate, contribute any amount you like. If you have $1 that you can donate or contribute, it would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you do not have a Cash App, the Venmo and PayPal is up in the Jumbotron. Once again, that is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Let me go ahead and get to original. Original, how you doing tonight?
Peace and blessings, everybody. Yeah, I want to talk about, Brother Harry Belafonte. Like you said, Newstoter, he's the epitome of what?
I had to cut him off real quick, Newstoter.
Go ahead.
Crawford, he is actually with me. He was the one that was on the trail with me as well, and he's waiting to go next. He has to go somewhere real quick. Do you mind if he speaks after me?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Crawford.
Thank you for that, Goddess, and thank you, Newstoter, as well. But, I just want to follow up with what Goddess was saying. For over a year and a half, North Carolinians championed for our Attorney General, District Attorney, to open up the case regarding Carolyn Bryant. And FBA Goddess, she took that time and she went to the home of Carolyn Bryant and followed that trail. Not only did she follow the trail, the Black Panther Party got involved. Malik Zulu Shabazz, the family attorney, got involved. And from that point, we were fed up, but fired up. And so from July through September, we stayed on her trail, traveled to Kentucky, just bringing that awareness that, hey, we know that she's 87, we know that she's in hospice, but something has to be done. And the fact that the district attorney in Leflore County refused to open up that case. And in February, when Ms. Sterling went to the White House, President Joe Biden said, there's nothing that he can push for, but the only thing that he can do is try to use resources to get justice for that family. So at that point, it felt like us being defeated, but we still kept pushing it. We still kept going. And so for her, Carolyn Bryant, to die at 88, live a full life, be able to get divorced, remarried, have kids, that speaks volumes of how white supremacy continues to thrive in our nation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to original. Go ahead and get back. You got it.
Okay, yeah, that was, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, that warrant that they found in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken, that was a black DA that wouldn't enforce that warrant. And see, this is why it's important, people. I'm not into parties. I'm into policy. Because if you're gonna have a policy where you're only gonna go after black folks, then I have no use for you. Because when Jim Crow Joe said he couldn't do anything, but yet I bet you if it was a Nazi, they'd have found all kind of resources to go after a Nazi. So this is why, and from what I'm hearing, it's looking grim for Jim Crow Joe, because I really don't give a damn who wins. But let me get back to Harry Belafonte. It's interesting that, like I said, he would be, like you said, Newstoter, he would be the epitome of what Pan-Africanism should be. And see, a lot of these people that they throw that term out there, but they don't mean it. And especially a lot of these people that come from the diaspora, they for damn sure don't. All they want is for us to do the work, and they come in and reap the benefits. That's the only thing they're looking for. But I'm not sorry, but we're not in that business anymore, taking care of everybody and allowing them to run over us. And what I want to say, here's the difference in Harry Belafonte and a lot of these so-called, artists today. See, you all probably remember when Harry Belafonte, he didn't do it in a mean way. He called out Jay-Z and Beyonce. And so Jay-Z said some very derogatory things about Brother Belafonte. And then he later tried to recant and say that he was sorry. Oh, no, too late, because, see, if it wasn't for Harry Belafonte, the civil rights movement would not have been funded the way it was. I remember hearing Sidney Poitier say once that he said, Harry, I don't have any more money to give. He said, I've already given. He got countless people out of jail. I mean, the brother was just phenomenal. There's nothing negative you can say about this brother, because he is like you say, he is the epitome of what Pan-Africanism should be. Not just one side doing all the work and one side reaping the benefits. No. And so I just wanted to say that and see. And let me be transparent too, because now what Jay-Z did to him, because see, I had to call out Dick Gregory once. Dick Gregory was on the radio in LA. He called this brother. The brother asked him who owns Hollywood, and Dick Gregory was like, check with the Boston banks. And so, and the brother started laying out his platform as who owned Hollywood. And you know everybody know who owned Hollywood. Dick Gregory started calling the brother all kind of N-words and stuff and this, that, and whatever. And the brother has a degree in mathematics, and he works at a local university in LA. So Dick Gregory came on a couple of weeks later doing the Bill and Monica sex trial, sex thing, whatever. So I asked him something about, why are these black folks supporting Bill Clinton? If it was a black man, they'd have crucified him at the pyramid of the hammer, cross, and nail. He gave a little spit. I said, I got one more question. I got a follow-up question too. So then I asked him, I said, remember you was on a couple weeks ago and this brother asked you who owned Hollywood, and you called him that word. He was like, yeah, like he was very bold and he was proud that he did it. And I said, if his name had been Alan Swartz, would you have called him the K word? And he was like, no. And see, he had a terrible habit. Because I know Runoko Rashidi, before I found out who Dick Gregory was, Runoko Rashidi did not like Dick Gregory because some of the antics he had pulled. And so people even questioning his sincerity to black people. But I just want to say, just to get some clarity, but you can do things, but a certain situation like that one with Jay-Z and Harry Belafonte, Jay-Z should have called him and said, can you explain to me, but he explained why they wasn't using their celebrity to push forward an agenda for black people. See, this is why I don't really care about a lot of these entertainers today, because all they want from us is our money so they can live a lavish lifestyle. I'm like, hell, I'm going to use my money for myself. And you get what you get, and you don't get what you don't get, plain and simple. So, like I said, it's not about hating anybody, but it's about looking at a platform that these people have. Because just think about it. If 5 of these high-profile black people were to stand up and start pushing an agenda for lineage-based reparations, it would begin to move forward even quicker. But see, they're not going to do that. But I tell you what, they're going to be the first in line to want to reap the benefits from it. You see, that wasn't Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte would be out on the front line with us, fighting, pushing, making things move. But these people today, they don't do that. They're more concerned about being liked by white folks and being, hopefully they can do the so-called crossover thing. And so that's why I cross my money out away from them. I am not going to give, I haven't been to the movies since like the 1990s. And I have some movie passes that are, they don't have an expiration date on them, and I still haven't gone. I don't have to spend money to get into the movies I wanted to go. So no, so I treat them the way that they treat us. They always come up, oh yeah, we need y'all support. Yeah, right. Well, we need y'all support too, but you're never there. So Harry Belafonte, salute to that brother, and the best for him and his family. Now what's the name of the Wicked Witch of Mississippi? You know, because people protected this bitch, and it's just sad that black folks couldn't really get to her and do something to her, because what she did was beyond foul. And so most people don't want to. I mean, I'm like, whoever the sister brothers, they know. Damn that forgiveness stuff. We forgive them too much. And it's like as long as we forgive these fools, they're not going to, regardless whether we forgive them or not, they are not going to change. Inherently evil cannot change. And these people are inherently evil. There are no good white people in this universe. And until people understand that, and just like you see some of these people online with these Aussies, you're going to end up dead, because that's just the nature of the beast. And and I'm not surprised that Breonna Taylor, her murderer, got off. But again, like I said, people always come up with this. When it comes to us, again, they come up with this forgiveness stuff. I just don't do that. If you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you worse. Plain and simple. So I just want to say that. But yeah, just understand, people, that I wasn't able to hear any of these other spaces today, but I'm sure everybody knows that, Harry Belafonte, he just did. I'll just put it that way. And I'll land with that.
All right. Thank you, Original. Thank you. Let me go ahead real quick and get to Rella. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, wait a minute, Total. Ain't there somebody down there with a caucasoid hand? I think she's been waiting for a minute now, I think.
Yeah, you can go ahead and get the go ahead and go to that. Can you come back to me, Newstoter?
Okay. Clarice, then it would have been Clarice would have been next. Clarice, are you there? Clarice, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, peace to everyone in the space. I wanted to add on to what I think it was Black Pressure, when he was saying that hypothetically, if the demon repented of the demon sins and made it into quote unquote heaven with God. And I wanted to read something in reference to that. It's in Matthew 5, verse 21 down. It says, "You shall not commit murder, and whoever commits murder shall be liable to the court. But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother shall be guilty before the court. And whoever says to his brother, 'You good for nothing,' shall be guilty before the Supreme Court. And whoever says, 'You fool,' shall be guilty enough to go into the fiery hell. Therefore, if you are presenting your offering to the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your offering there before the altar and go first. Be reconciled to your brother, and then come and present your offering. Make friends quickly with your opponent at law while you are still with him on the way. So I will stop there. So if the demon, quote unquote, said, "Oh, I'm going to change" or whatever, then that means that she would be looking at him as a brother. And that's not the case. And we know that she said things like, "You're good for nothing," and referred to him that way, and told her husband that that's why unfortunately, this young man with life was taken. So no, that's not where she's going to be. No, and that's a demon. Demons don't have that option. They don't. She is a demon. That's what she is. There are demons out here walking around every day. They don't have that option. And no, I'm not religious. No, I'm not a Christian. I just know how to use the book at my disposal. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you. I land.
All right. Thank you. Rella, are you ready now? Or you still want to wait?
I need a little bit. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, go ahead. I'll come back to you. Leon, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
Is anybody talking? Because I can't hear.
You can't hear? Black Native, you can't hear? Hey, Black Native.
You hear me?
Black Native, you're gonna have to probably come. You're gonna have to come out then, probably if you can't hear.
She can't hear.
She can't. She disconnecting, so she'll be back up here. Let me go ahead and get to Leon. Leon, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, Newstoter, going on, DJ, the Professor, Phoenix, Justice, Rella, Original. Oh man, I love what Original was saying about Harry Belafonte. I mean, we had this thing. People know, like, when we talk about the B1 and about how there are some diaspora people are down with with the black first, with Black Americans. Harry Belafonte, from what I know of from, like, with my parents and everything, you would consider a B1. He was for black people, especially Black Americans. And it's a shame that the younger generation now are not following in his footsteps. Especially the ones from the Caribbean diaspora. And it's actually a shame. But may he rest in peace. Breonna Taylor killer, yeah, that sucks. And it seemed like it's starting to be like a thing with white supremacy, spitting in our face with these Caucasoid cop killers killing our people, especially our sisters and brothers, and then they like to spit it in our face and they hire down the road or whatever. Don't be surprised that Potter chick don't get her job back in a different town or something. So we'll keep an eye out on that, because I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, Carolyn Bryant, I might get a little graphic on what I'm about to say about her. Far as I can say is, I will say justice is finally served, to a point that I hope the ancestors up there take her soul and kick it around like kickball. Then send her soul down to hell. And I hope there's infinity amount of big strapping brothers, if y'all know what I mean, big strapping brothers, putting that pull work into Carolyn Bryant. And I hope they're whistling while they thrust at her for infinity. Now, I know that sounds a little graphic, and I know people might say, "Oh, she might like that," but I said infinity, forever and ever. So after the first 50, it's going to start bothering her, and it's going to keep bothering her. the whistling is going to be ear piercing to her ears, and it's never going to stop. And I hope that happens to her in hell. And I land there.
All right, Leon. Let me go ahead and get to Phoenix. Phoenix, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, guys. I'm gonna be real quick. I really like that. Oh my God, like maybe something light, and that's a good, infinite thrashing. But I like that. So I want to say this. So and I loved what Bobo read with the Proverbs, right? So two things can be true at the same time. So when we use that book.
Hey Phoenix, is there any way you can turn your volume up a little bit higher?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you a lot better now.
Oh, okay, it was down low. And I'm working right now, so I'm gonna be real quick. But I want to just say something about the book, and I want to say, this could be controversial. If we use it scientifically, in terms of the principles and not the full-on stories, and just kind of use it to benefit us, then that's where it is, valuable. But we have to also remember that, there are so many versions of that book, and so many. And remember, they have the slave Bible, they have the Old Testament, the eye for an eye, which was cool with me. And then they have the New Testament, where there's a whole lot of passivity, in it. And answer me this: why are there new versions and old versions? I don't get it. I don't understand. Obviously, I do read the Bible. There are things in it, but I'm definitely not your typical Christian in that way. It's all about science and applying that knowledge to benefit us, like manifesting and thoughts, and using our thoughts to manifest the life we want to live here on earth, and having heaven on earth, and that is possible. So once we get our collective thoughts together, we'll have total different experience. I know I kind of went off the rails of the conversation, but I just wanted to mention that because we've been talking about the book, and so we have to remember that book was used to enslave us as well. Although there are very good things, let's just and forgiveness. Yes, there are. We forgive our brothers, we forgive our sisters, and it's all based on love. But those that trespass against us, that's a whole other thing. So Carolyn Bryant can burn in hell. I wish she would have burned on earth, because I truly believe that there is heaven and hell here on earth. So, God bless Belafonte, and yes, he is the epitome of actual the diaspora and being Pan-African. And so that was during the time when being a Pan-African, it wasn't a whole lot of immigration coming over. And so we had that managed, you know what I mean? The diaspora that came over would get in line and do as the Romans did and did as the Black people did in this country at the time. Somehow we lost management of it because somehow we got rocked to sleep as a collective. So I just want to say that. And I'm a land there. I'm sorry, I just kind of went all over the map, but I'm a land.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Hold on real quick, Rella. So thank you, Phoenix. But yeah, everybody, I don't want to turn this into the Bible study session. I know everybody was like, we give them some Bible verses and stuff like that, and we talking about the Bible, and yeah, we're gonna keep it focused on the actual 3 topics up there in the actual title. So we're not. Another time we may have to do a Bible study or something like that, Sunday school or Thursday night school or something. But let's try to keep it focused strictly on the actual on the topics, which I know sometimes, no matter what the space is, you're gonna always kind of veer off a little bit. But no disrespect, because I don't want anybody to feel like their faith is being disrespected or whatever. But just to keep it on the actual topic and keep everything focused and centered the way it is, we just gonna stay strictly on the actual topics tonight. And in terms of actual justice in this world, Carolyn Bryant didn't get justice in this world. She was able to get out the easy way. I don't know what she's gonna go through in the afterlife, but here on planet Earth, she was able to escape because the United States government didn't want this old biddy to go ahead and go to jail pretty much. Now, had she been an old Nazi or something like that, they would have been already handcuffed her. But the fact that she was over here in America, she was in the heart of Dixie in Mississippi, and the fact that she was she's a white woman and she was old and she got away with helping to set up a young black man to be killed, they didn't want to bring justice to her. So, whatever she get in the afterlife, may she get it 1,000-fold or whatever, but here on planet Earth, she was able to escape simply because the United States government, both the federal, the state, and the local, allowed her to skate. No matter who was the head of the Department of Justice, they set up there and they went ahead and they did not want to slap the cuffs on this old white woman because they were scared of the actual redneck base in this country. They didn't want to piss it off saying, well, she's an old white lady. Why are you arresting her? So she got away with murder. Her and her husband and her brother-in-law and the actual the whole jury that went ahead and went along with that BS, they all went ahead and they helped acquit all of them of murder. So she should have been right on trial with her actual husband and brother-in-law because she was the one that set it up. And I know Detroit was saying, well, yeah, it was the actual, the system itself. Yeah, the system itself definitely went ahead. And what makes it so bad, she was saying that, it wasn't him that whistled at me. It was somebody else. So had you not got him snatched up, you'd have got another black dude snatched up behind your BS because you knew the moment you told your Peckerwood husband and brother-in-law they was going to kill some black dude behind that. So had it not been Emmett Till, you just would have got another black boy tortured and killed out there. So that's what I just want to leave it at right there real quick. I know we got
Hey, Toto, I was just gonna say, bro. We got Wilson trying to come up.
Yeah, she's up. I just approved her, so she should.
Okay, I couldn't get her to come up, man.
Yeah, she I just seen her she just got approved to come up. So let me go ahead and get to get the Rella, and then we'll get the new speakers. We'll get the Trouble as well too, and then we'll get the Wilson too as well. So go ahead, Rella.
Thank you, Newstoter and DJ. Hey, Professor, everybody in the room.
Yeah,
and shout out to definitely FBA Goddess and Mr. Crawford. I have been following them and the things that have been going on, and also the people down there that were championing for Carolyn Bryant arrest. Harry Belafonte and Sydney Portier did do a lot, as well as a lot of professional celebrities behind the scenes. I do believe that they do not come, they don't make them like them anymore. A lot of people now feel that, they don't want to upset the environment that they're in for work, because there is a targeted advancement that has been happening to Black Americans in regards to them not getting jobs and getting gigs and roles, depending on how Black they present themselves in regards to being Black American. And then you can testify to that reasoning because of what we have been seeing over the last few years with the replacement of Black Americans with more Black immigrants cosplaying as us in film. So there is a nuance, but there is an issue. That's maybe another talking conversation for later on, that people don't know. If you're not connected with someone in film in the industry, then you don't know that there's another evil battle that happens, I think, throughout all of the businesses. So I'll land that there. Harry Belafonte was very, very prominent. I know him and Dick Gregory had some issues, but at the end of the day, I know Dick Gregory did at the end, prior to his passing, did understand a lot about Harry Belafonte. I think I followed some of the works that he was talking about, and he even had a recording. He did a lot of his podcasting that eventually will surface online. You can go research and look it up. My brain is moving real fast. So rest in peace to Harry Belafonte, Sidney Portier, and those who worked tirelessly behind the scenes and who felt like they were not able to actually stand up for us like they wanted to, because they are in that industry. The other thing is Breonna Taylor's killer is like what's happening with Emmett Till. They are allowed to live their lives alive here and on Atlas, because this is the jail.
this is the war zone. I don't want to, like you said, you don't want to turn this into anything about the Bible, but I'm going to put it to you like this. My belief and my faith and what I know of and have experienced is not on it's not up for the discussion of anyone else and what they believe and don't believe. So I don't chastise people for what they believe and don't believe. But I do stand strong in my faith, and I understand, and I do read all Bibles and all religious practices for one, edification, and two, to realize that the weaponization of white supremacy was utilized through a lot of the religions. And so to me, you have to be aware of what witches and warlocks do, and they do utilize spirituality. So at the end of the day, for those of us who are empaths, we understand the difference. And the other thing is, Bobo, and this is how anybody can be used. He literally presented a rebuttal to Black Pressure, and shout out to Black Pressure even for his thought-provoking response, because that is a much needed response to wake up the people of God. But however, Bobo was also used and also rebutting to say that there are going to be consequences. The thing that I didn't like is that when he, utilized the term to say that, hey, all these BITCHs up in here be after me, your platform is mostly Black women. And we are not bitches. We're not. There's no white woman in here, no Latinas in here, no other races of females in here. We stand shoulder to shoulder with all the brothers in here. You never once, even when I have disagreements going back and forth and my position might be different, hear me ever come out of my mouth to call someone out their name. Because I know the stakes are higher. That's how you know the difference between someone who is truly, truly grounded in us, or reconditioning themselves to recognize that who we are. And I wanted to say that, Newstoter, not as a slight to Vovo or to be disrespectful, but to say that please mind yourself.
Okay.
And that was it. So Carolyn Bryant is going to get what she's going to get. Her flesh was able to live here, but her spirit is definitely consequences for the actions that you take. And I do believe that all of the consequences will be held in the next round. The problem is we need to stop a lot of these spirits that are running around in these sandbags from being able to live as long as they're living. Some of y'all talk about war and you bring up the Bible, but you don't read the Bible in regards to what it means to actually put on your armor and truly go to war with a lot of these people in the physical. So if you really want to be about it, you really want to be about your Father's business, and I'm talking about the spiritual Father's business, then you need to go ahead and do what you need to do. Don't put the blame on nobody's faith, because we already know what the Bible was meant for. We know what it was used for. That was not what the intended was. You have a bunch of people running around here evil, and it's time to slay a lot of them in our land. Thank you, Newstoter.
All right. Bobo, I know you're trying to come up here, but right now, if any speaker's not going to speak right now, let me go ahead and voluntarily drop yourself down, or I can drop you down, because we got people trying to come up and request. So anybody's not going to speak right now, I'll let you come up here, Volvo, real quick, but we still got some order with the hands and stuff. So let me go ahead and get to Trouble. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, everybody. Shout out to everyone in the space, Toter, DJ, Professor, all the usual suspects. What's up? So Sister Rella just got up here and pretty much her and Black Native always beat me to the daggone punch, say what needs to be said. And so shout out to y'all, because y'all always can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Trouble, 1 second. DJ, hold it down for me real quick. Are you there? DJ must not be there. Professor, hold it down for me real quick, all right?
Okay, I got you. Go trouble.
Okay, so can you hear me? Because I had just got a phone call and I don't want to be in the matrix.
Yeah, I can hear you, trouble. I think everybody else in the room can.
Okay, words. So yeah, they just pretty much summed up what I was going to say, especially in reference to homeboy with the DITCHs. And I hate to be the one to come into the room and say something controversial or different than what everybody else is saying. But also I'll start off by saying rest in paradise to the brother Harry Belafonte. He was definitely one of a kind, and like Rella just stated, as far as him and brothers like Sidney Portiego, that come from another land, and they don't make them like that anymore. As far as those that champion Black American issues and put it down, I was reading an article the other day from Eartha Kitt, who stated that she'd had an affair with Harry Belafonte, and one of the things that she said that broke her heart was that he stated to her that there was nothing a Black woman could do for him. And so when I read that, it kind of made me feel a little ways. I always knew that, the other side of town. But when I thought about it, I thought about how brothers back in those days kind of set a standard. They kind of set a pattern for what we see today and not only in the movie industry, but as well as the music industry and our athletes, to where when they get to a certain level, Black women are no longer good enough for them, and they have to have a white woman. We're good enough to bed, and even if we're stars of a particular way, they still want the white woman. And so from that era up into what we see today, we have our athletes in, even with stars like Jack Johnson being an athlete and going after the white woman, it's remnant of what we see today. And I kind of sort of feel like if they'd have set a different pattern, set a different standard back in those times, maybe we wouldn't see so much of that today. But anyhow, still shout out to that brother, may he rest in paradise, regardless, but that fact still needs to be sussed out, and we're not going to pretend like it didn't happen. The Breonna Taylor killer, it is what it is. We all knew when he did not serve any time after that sister's death that he was going to be hired in another area, because we keep looking at the system as if it was created for us. It was not. It doesn't work for us because it doesn't work for those it wasn't intended for. It's working exactly how it's supposed to work. This is their kingdom. And I don't know if you all understand what I mean when I say that, but I won't go deep delve into it. But they got the sword right now. They got the blessings of the weapons, and they're running the show. And this is how they want to run that show. When they say protect and serve, they are here to protect white interests. They are here to protect the corporations and the business, and they're here to serve us, whatever it is that the corporations and white society tell them to serve us. When they come, when we call them to come to our houses, they are probably annoyed that they have to come out to our homes, and they see, no matter if we was the person who called as the problem, even if we're the victim in the situation, they don't see us. They're never going to see us as the victim in the situation. It's their opportunity to rule over us. It's their turn to get to rule. So that's where they lead from. They're always going to be able to find another job. They're always going to have special rights and privileges, and that's just how it is. I hate that that's how it is, but I think we need to start realizing what time it is so that we don't keep getting caught up in, well, damn, he got another job. Get it in your mind that they're going to get another job. If they're not going to jail right off the bat, they get ready to get another job. Carolyn Bryant, she dead, she gone. Everybody has relayed my sentiments about that whole, so I don't need to go deep delve into it and do a whole lot of name calling, because she done been all kind of bitches up in this space, and I'm gonna take a shot to that. So she's dead. We didn't get justice on that end. Mamie Till didn't get justice. The family didn't get justice. I'm not even gonna delve into the forgive me nots, because we already know that it's too many of us deeply indoctrinated. that want to feel like they have to forgive, because people feel like if they forgive you, you know, that does something to them, their spirit, that makes them a better person, but it doesn't make us better people to forgive those who didn't ask us for forgiveness. And who don't care about our forgiveness. And if I didn't already realize that, that's when that little boy killed these people here in South Carolina, up in Charleston, where people rushed out to forgive him, and he turned around and he said out his own mouth, "I didn't ask you for your forgiveness." So there's that. One thing Carolyn Bryant did do, and I believe every situation, there's a reason for every situation. One thing that she did do was she kicked off a civil rights movement that may have not kicked off had that incident not happened. Just like the George Floyd situation, it kicked off something. It was a different spirit on this earth ever since that happened. So it brought global attention in a way that should have already been there, but it wasn't there. So she served her purpose. She did what she was supposed to do, and now she's the fuck up out of here. And so there's going to be more incidents. There's going to be whatever it is, but the witch is dead. And that's all I'm going to say. Much love to everybody in the space, and shout out to y'all. Thank you, Total, for allowing me to speak.
All right. Thank you, Trouble. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, like I say, once again, up in the Jumbotron is a YouTube channel. We got about 35, 36 people up in the space. So for those that have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, go over there. Please go over there and subscribe to the YouTube channel while the actual space is going on. I'm sure everybody in the space is not a subscriber to the Newstoter YouTube channel. So if you're not, then please go over there and make your way. It's up in the Jumbotron, the second to the left. All you gotta do is click that link and go straight to it'll take you straight to the actual YouTube channel. You can go ahead and subscribe, and you'll be listening to the space as you're subscribing. So I want to go ahead and get to Wilson, then I want to go ahead and get to Rock Roller, and then we're gonna get to our other speakers. We'll get back to Black Pressure, and we'll get back to Volvo since y'all already spoke. But let me go ahead and get Wilson up in here. Wilson, how you doing tonight?
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
You there, Wilson?
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me now? Because I went to my Bluetooth on my phone.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, awesome. So anyway, hi guys, how you guys doing? Hope everybody's doing well.
We are, Wilson. How you doing, man?
Good. Well, let's start with Carolyn Bryant. You know, my only wish was, like when the Jews in the Nuremberg and their trials for Nazis, that we would have had one for her, because she deserved to, at the very least, optics-wise, we deserve to see her on trial and just publicly admit on trial that she lied. But that's okay. You know, I always said that it would have been her last day and her last breath, and she would have had to be in jail. I could care less. And she embodies what these white women are, and they are dangerous. They're lies. They know when they call the police what they're doing. They know very well what they're doing. But I'm of the mindset, and I'm very hopeful, and I said this to my family that's visiting me here from Georgia. I said, I can only hope that when she goes to that heavenly elevator and she presses the penthouse floor, that when she walks down that pearly gate, when that gate opens up, I want to know that Emmett Till and Harriet Tubman is there to meet her ass and pistol whip her ass straight to hell. That's what she deserves. Bottom line. As far as Breonna Taylor, this is where we talk about qualified immunity and why we need to take that off the table. Because when you have cops like this that murders people innocently, the cop meaning, they get judged among their peers and they are able to resign before they can get fired, and they're able to get jobs. And this is why a part of that George Floyd bill had included removing that qualified immunity, and they have not done it. The Democratic Senate has not done it, and I want to keep you in mind. Lastly, Harriet Belafonte. I came into space a little late, and I heard people say that they don't make them like that anymore. Well, that's not true, because I'm one of them. My father came here in 1953 from Cuba. He was a black man from Cuba. And my father rented a room from Harry Belafonte's father, who my dad always said was a good man, and knew Harry Belafonte and thought so highly of him, and was able to lay the groundwork for my dad, who, if it weren't for him, folks, you know, my dad, who I loved, my father walked on water for me. You guys have to understand this. He died in 1993. And he was a beautiful black man who loved his wife. When people say, oh, black men are this, I'm like, no. I live by example. My father was a beautiful black man who loved his wife and loved his family. And he loved being black. And he always, and I think I've said this in the room many times to you guys, my dad always said, keep in mind what white America is. White America is white supremacy. I don't care what you do. He says, Jack, you need to understand that you're black first. Period. You're black first. My father made sure that the black history was embedded in our brains beyond just what was taught in school. For example, he realized very early on what they were teaching us in school with regards to Thanksgiving. That was one of the things my father said, no. The Pilgrims don't have a goddamn thing to do with you. He says, what we're going to do is we're going to pick somebody black, you kids, and you're going to write a few sentences, what greatness they brought, and we're going to thank them at the Thanksgiving table. My dad said to me at a very young age that I needed to understand a lot of things about being black first. And I think I shared this in the room with you yesterday, that he took us to, took me to see Farrakhan when he used to come once a month to Manhattan at Madison Square Garden to listen. So that, if we didn't listen then, I think it was WBLS we could listen to it. But my dad was a very prideful black man. He opened up a store in Harlem. And I remember that as a little girl. My father was a master tailor. He made clothes for men that were too big, maybe a little fat, whatever, and they got to know a lot of notable people. My dad was black first to the day he died. So, and he came from that era of Poitier and Harry Belafonte. My father was born in 1925. And, you know, guys, not every non-FBA is an enemy. They're out there. I don't know anything else. I keep telling people, I don't know anything else. I don't know anything else. I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up on Valentine Avenue and 187th Street. My family, my close family, grew up on 139th and Webster Avenue, 168th and Webster Avenue, 168th and Webster Avenue projects. This is what I know. I don't know anything else. I know the love of black people. I know the love of my black American people. I don't know anything else, that I need to understand that everything I do in my life that I have achieved is because of the opportunities that were laid to my dad, because black American people's blood was soaked in the soil. That's why he was adamant that we were black first. I don't know. Time will tell. For those that don't know me, you will know in time. But I could die for my people. I don't know anything different. Okay? And everything I do, I set up a scholarship with my own money. Major law firm, law school in Los Angeles, for black American people whose lineage they can prove their lineage is directly tied to U.S. chattel slavery, to help them with the law books, because those law books are so damn expensive. I never knew that until my godson went there and graduated in 2016, and we both came up with that idea. It's a give back. Harry Belafonte makes me very proud. Cicely Tyson, another one, parents came from Nevis, makes me proud. Okay? Sidney Poitier makes me proud. And let me tell you something. I've had my run-ins with people school probably didn't trust me because I was non-FBA. Listen, I'm still in the room, and they're not. I read books. I keep myself up to par. I am very interested in what happens to our people, my people, and nobody else. So when you say they don't make them like that anymore, let me tell you, I'm here for you. And it's a way to get to know me. You know somebody that is 1,000,000,000,000,000,000%. I will fight. I will die. I'm very proud of Black American people. Let me give you a personal story, and I'm going to land with this. My dad went to Washington, D.C., and I don't know where he got this from, but it's a beautiful lithograph of Black people who contributed great things in the United States. And it was hung by a window that I used to like to look out of. I grew up in Newark after we left the Bronx. And I would look up at it and read it. And I always was fascinated with Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. First doctor ever to operate on the heart, and he was a Black man. Okay? So I was in third grade. And we were learning how to make a paragraph. Okay? So the teacher said to me, Mrs. Inio, this Italian woman, she said, I want everybody to go home and I want you to write a paragraph on a great American that contributed something. Because the whole premise was she wanted to see how we structured our paragraph. And I knew right away I was going to write about Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. So I went to the library on the way home, real story. And I got the book, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. I remember the cover. And I wrote my paragraph. And I thought I did a good job. Handed it in the next day. The following day, when we got the report back, our grades back, she gave me an F, and it was in red. And she gave me an F, and she wrote on the corner, Dr. Daniel Williams was not Black. And I was taken aback because I remember saying to myself, wait a minute, I know I read this all the time. It's up on our house. I look at the book. And I was like, something doesn't. And I was a very, how can I say, not rude, but I was headstrong. I was a headstrong kid. And like my father, if you told me, no, you can't do something, I'm going to prove you wrong. My father and I have the same, we're going to prove you wrong because nobody is going to tell you, especially white, they're going to tell you what you can't do, what you can't do. That's how I was raised. So when I got home, I showed this to my mother, and I could tell on her face, my mother was very light skinned, and I could tell she got a little red, and I could tell she was upset, but she said in a very low tone, she goes, I'm going to wait till your father gets home. So when Daddy got home, she showed Dad my paper, and my father, this piece of artwork is sacred in my family. Like, it's sacred in my family. My father took that thing off the wall, wrapped it in some newspaper and put it in a big bag. And he says, Jack, come to school tomorrow morning. And Dad walked, and he sat down. I was in the class, and I saw my father outside talking to Mrs. Inio. And anybody who knew my father knew that his hand, like when he's moving his hand, he was not playing. You know what I mean? He was one of those. I'm playing. And I saw that. So a few minutes later, she came in, and she had a very stern look on her face. And my father came in the room, and she called me up, and she says, I want to apologize for failing you. I understand that Dr. Daniel Hale Williams is Black, and I'm going to change your report to an A. And that's who my father was. He wasn't allowing, especially a white person, because he was, if you could be Black and racist, that was my dad, tell his daughter that Dr. Daniel Hale Williams wasn't Black. And like my father said, you gave her an F because she wrote that he was Black, not because of the structure of her damn report. And that's who my father was to the day he died. And that's who I am to the day I die. You can't tell me nothing about Black people. I don't want to hear it. I don't give a fuck. I give a fuck, I will bring you down. I don't play. And I don't, and my family knows that. That's why a lot of times they will keep shit away from me. But one time it did escape my mother, and I almost got arrested at Newark Airport because I took this white woman and flipped her over the goddamn, and she hit my mother and had no goddamn respect. Don't play with white people. I'm very proud. Like my father says, you're black first. Don't you forget it, because if you forget it, you will be cursed like those people in Africa. Because my father says, you can't tell me they're not cursed. They will. Daddy said they will be cursed to the day they die for what they did to black people. Period. He went to the grave with them. So there are people out there who are beyond 10 toes down for you. And I love every single one of you. Sometimes I sit here listening to all of you guys and I have to crack up. I was like, black people bring smoke. They ain't playing out here. You know what I mean? So I want to land with that. I gotta go, but I thank you so much for allowing me that, because I really wanted to share that with you guys in the room, and I was afraid to. And I will tell you why. I was afraid to because sometimes people will come at me and threaten my life. I'm not exaggerating. And it doesn't bother me because I'm still here. Okay? So that's it, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Sister Wilson. Thank you. And I'll just say this part here about the curse part. We have to remember too that it was not the entire African continent that sold black people into transatlantic slavery as well too. So a lot of times I know people say the entire continent is cursed and this and that or whatever, but the entire continent did not take part in the transatlantic slave trade. So we got to always remember that as well too. It was West Africa and mainly Central and parts of Central Africa that was actually taking part in that transatlantic slave trade, just for historical purposes. And that's not to say you didn't have other areas here and there that may not have sold some slaves as well too in the transatlantic slave trade, but it was mainly those two regions, mainly Western Africa and a decent part of Central Africa as well too. So let me just go ahead and put that in there. I said we got a Rock Roller up in here as well too. So Rock Roller, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's up, man?
Yeah, I wanted to say this, and I'm gonna take my time with this because I don't want to fuck this up. Harry Belafonte, shout out to him, for taking care of MLK's family after he was assassinated. But let me say this. A lot of folks, they hear me talk on these spaces and they try to paint me as this angry ass black man, this loudmouth ass angry black man. But let me say this. I am 52 years old. I lived through the Mike Browns, the Trayvon Martins, the Jalen Walkers, the George Floyds. And to even go back further than that, to Warner Brown. I lived through all of that. So let me say this. When you hear me talking on these spaces and I'm loud and I'm angry and I'm mad, it's because I've been dealing with this bullshit for 52 motherfucking years, bro. That's what you hear. So anybody just want to run around and say that I'm an angry ass, crazy ass nigga, nah, nigga. I've been dealing with these white folks for over a fucking 50 fucking years, bro. So when you hear me talk, you hear anger, bro. And I'll land right there.
Okay, Rock Roller, thank you. That was pretty quick. Did you want to talk about Carolyn Bryant or Breonna Taylor? Or are you good? If you're good, that's okay as well too. So.
No, I forgot to add those. Emmett Till, Breonna Taylor, the same shit over and over again. And I'm sick and tired of it.
All right. Thank you, Rock Roller. Let me go to Black Pressure. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay. Back again.
Hey, real quick before you go, Black Pressure. Hey, DJ, are you still here?
I'm here, bro.
Hey, go over to YouTube real quick and see how the reception is over there for me real quick.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, because while Black Pressure's speaking, let me know how the actual the sound is over there on YouTube.
Well, okay, I'll tell you this just for basic think so, because I know people over YouTube be complaining about they can't hear certain people or whatever. That's a microphone issue from device to device. It ain't got nothing really to do with anything else other than.
Because I know when I replay it, I can hear everybody pretty clear and loudly. You know, when I turn up the volume all the way up, so I don't know. Like,
right, I got you. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Black Pressure. My bad. Go ahead. You got it.
So just two things, news. So earlier when I kind of gave my point of vantage about religion, of course I did that on purpose. I'm a bastard, and I did that on purpose, and I just want to show you when the collective of Black people, when we group up, the silliness that really follows when religion comes up. We got the universe, we got science, we got sorcery, we got personal feelings. I don't care what the book says, burning in hell. We got pearly gates, and it goes everywhere when religion is evoked. And like I said, I did that on purpose. I wanted to show you that it just, we're never gonna, Black people will never see eye to eye when it comes to religion. And I'm gonna respect you, and I know you said you didn't want to make this about the Bible. I don't either. But I just want to, I did that on purpose to prove that point. It says that is going to be the eternal divide when it comes to Black people is religion. But it's something else I want to move on. I know Trouble brought this up, and I do understand where she was coming from with the being loyal to Black women when it comes to matters of your heart and emotional attachment. So I'll tell you a story real quick. So there is this young lady at my job, right? So check this out, DJ. This is for all the Black women. If I could bring a smile to your face, if I can. So there's this young lady at my job, right? She is Latina. She is El Salvadorian in news. Just straight up black man to black man. This MF is fine as fuck. I'm telling you. When I say Rosita's are fine, Black Rosita's are fine. Hey, bro. Hey, Professor. When I'm telling you this, now I'm from. Of course, y'all know I'm from South Texas, right? And like the old folks say, where I'm from, that man, this thing finer than all outdoors. I mean, her body oozes with sexuality. She is top notch, right? So this is what I do. So when I saw her, I was like, damn. I was like, man, I don't work in her unit, right? But what the type of job I have to go to her unit, and I do quality control, and I sign off or reject stuff. I do all that type of stuff. So one of my homeboys works in her unit, right? So I go up, like, this is 2 months ago, the first time I saw her. I was like, hey, man, who is that? He was like, oh, that's Bianca, man. And I was like, man, that thing fine as fuck. Boy, he was like, yeah, she is. Like, man, she ain't got no husband. She ain't with nobody. I said, so I said, watch this. So what I started doing, it was just literally harmless flirt. I started, like, I would bring this real expensive gum to work and eat. And I was like, hey, you want some of this? She was like, oh, yeah, thank you. So I would flirt with her every day. Every day I see her, like, hey, girl, you ain't got no husband yet? She laughed and all that. So make a long story short, I'm not being conceited. I knew what was going to happen eventually. I knew what it was going to come to. So last week, I did not work overtime. Her unit did. So my homeboy texted me. He was like, hey, man. He was like, Bianca is asking about you. He was like, where you at and all that. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm at the crib chilling. Blah, blah, blah. So just being a flirt, I say, man, tell her I said hi. So he said hi, right? He was like, man, she said, when you coming back to work and da-da-da-da, right? So moving on in the story, I get back to work. It's a Monday. That just passed. So she's like, he's like, man, she talked about you the whole weekend. And he's like, man, you need to get her number. You could hit that. And I'm Professor, when I say this thing fine, I ain't gonna ride news. If I show you a picture of this woman, you're going to think that she had a BBL and she's some kind of Instagram model. None of that. I mean, when I say fine, I can't even think of any word in my lexicon to describe how fine this chick is. So he said, look, I'm gonna do this because he said you rarely come over to this side. He said, I'm gonna hook you up. I say, nah. I say, don't do that. Don't do that. He was like, oh, why you gonna holler at yourself? And I promise, this is every black woman that can hear my voice. I have a code of ethics that governs me. It's hard sometimes. I'm not even gonna sit here and say I'm some kind of, Tibetan monk that floats in the air and nothing tempts me. I'm not trying to tell you no story like that. But when he told, I said, nah, I said, don't worry about that. He said, what, you gonna holler at yourself? I looked at this is my brother. It's another black man. I looked at him and said, bro, I only talk to black women. And that shit hurt me to say that. Because, boy, I tell you, this girl that came to me 4 or 5 years ago, let me keep it clean because they got the ladies in here. But yeah, I just for any black woman that could hear my voice, there are black men that have a code of ethics that actually is serious about it, and they stick to it. I live by that. I planted my flag in black women, and until the day I die, I'm going down with that ship, and I land my plane there.
All right, because I missed when Trouble was in here most of what she was saying, so I was just trying to figure out where we going with this story. To be honest, because I'm like,
she was talking about Harry. I think Harry Belafonte, him marrying some Asian one or a white one, whatever.
No, okay, because I missed that part.
Trouble was talking about Harry Belafonte, and went for the preference of white women.
Okay, because I was just trying to figure out. I'm like,
Harry Belafonte came out of that first marriage. He was married.
Yeah, but he did marry. He married. He's been married to white women before too. Now, yeah, he's been married to white women before too.
I'm saying that his first wife was black.
A lot of black men have
that makes it worse. That makes it worse when you had a black woman first. And then you thought something was better. Notice I hadn't said anything about it, but I'll leave
real quick, Black Pressure, because when you was telling that story, I was damn near about to come off the mic. I'm like, where in the hell are we going at with this story? I'm like
I said, Trouble was actually, she did a great job of not going in depth, but if you read a lot of the tweets, they were smashing him because he was married to a white woman. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, because I swear it was taking everything in me. I'm like, what is Black Pressure? I'm like, how we go from talking about
I'm gonna tell y'all this, y'all. A lot of these great black men and the ones that have passed on, Sidney Poitier being one of them, have married white women.
Sidney Poitier, everything he was married to was white though. So yeah, you're right. I mean,
yeah. We just got to get an understanding on this, ladies. I know a lot of black women don't like it. A lot of brothers we don't like. When we see sisters with white men, y'all marry white men. Shit, just tell the truth. Look at Ketanji Brown, fine ass. Ketanji Brown, fine ass, up there in that Supreme Court, married to some damn white man. And when they get ready to what is it?
But I'll say this, Professor. They don't marry him at the clip that black men do. We being honest about it. Because for every black woman we could come up about 10 black dudes that's married to a white chick. So there's just
they knew to draw this point home, and I'm done. Think of Serena Williams, right? I'm talking about heyday, black cat suit, Serena Williams, and double the size of her breast. That's this chick from El Salvador. Yeah, she is a monster. I'm serious. She is a beast. And I couldn't do it. In my heart, I couldn't do it because she's not a black woman.
Okay, because I just like I said, I stepped off when Trouble, because that's why I told you. I said, Professor, hold it down. When I came back, Trouble was at the end, so I didn't. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what is Black Pressure talking about? Like, I'm like,
yeah, that's what he was talking about. And but Trouble now, Trouble, and she's gonna say what's on her mind. That's what we love about her. And I can understand what the sisters are saying about that kind of stuff, because there's a lot of black men like him that have done that. And she felt like if he had did it the other way, a lot of the younger black men in this generation right now, like you and I or whoever, wouldn't be going for the white women. I think that's what Trouble was.
Well, I mean, I'll say this right here, and we've said this, and I've said it a number of times in space. If you've had black men right after slavery had to have white women. You had Frederick Douglass. I mean, you had Jack Johnson. I mean, you had people, you know, as soon as black men started gaining some notoriety and power and stuff, you know, it wasn't long before a lot of them had white women. So, you know, way before Harry Belafonte even came on the scene, you had black men, you know, that had white wives or white girlfriends and stuff like that too. So I don't think you can put it all on Harry Belafonte, because Sidney Poitier. I mean, like I said, and we was talking about this the other night during the colorism. I was mentioning all of the names of some of the people that had a white wife or a white girlfriend or whatever. So it's nothing new if we trying to be honest about it. Like, I mean, like I said, Quincy Jones, everything he's ever been married to or had was a white woman. You know, and I'm talking about during the civil rights movement and all this other stuff. Think about it. Look at Frederick Douglass doing right after slavery. Look at Jack Johnson a little shortly after Reconstruction. Huh?
Our brother Malcolm X, before he get to the Nation of Islam, our brother Malcolm X.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
so that's what I'm saying.
And Martin Luther King might have had one too, y'all.
I've heard people, and I don't know how true that is, but I've heard people say that, you know, about Martin Luther King. You know, I don't have anything to confirm it or back it up, but I'm just being honest. Like, I don't know, but at the same time,
man, I'm gonna say y'all now. These girls keep be throwing that shit out there to a brother. Now they be throwing it at us. They be throwing.
let me, Professor, before we get into that far, let me go ahead, and because Volvo got his hand up, so let me see what Volvo got to say real quick. Go ahead, Volvo. We can't hear you at all, Volvo. Volvo, we can't hear you at all. Volvo, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Yeah, I just want to say, this guy just went into this long spiel about this El Salvadorian chick that he was lusting over, and then he didn't even do nothing at the end. What a letdown! That was a super letdown of a story. That was just a let. He went into this 5-minute spiel about how sexy she is, and you dropped the ball. What a lame. Anyway, earlier I would do that to your mama though. What?
See, now we starting to get juvenile up in here now. Now we taking shots. We talking about people mama and this. Like, I'm gonna have to start reining it back in and whatnot. Now I'm like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. It's not even that serious. Like, I know pressure joking around, but still, man, let's go ahead. Like, how we go from talking about somebody like Harry Belafonte and Breonna Taylor and Carolyn Bryant situation to, like, you know, dissing people mamas and talking about somebody they didn't get the box basically or whatever, so they lame. Like, let's try to steer back on the conversation, man, real quick, man. Even in the comment section, they talk about, hey, pressure over the comment section of YouTube talking about you did drop the ball, though.
News. The moral of the story was I only talk to black women.
I get you. I understand that. I get what you said. Go ahead, Volvo.
The sexiest woman in the world. She giving you what you're a hoe. You ain't this blaster. Get out of here. Anyway, you said you're a hoe. Why can't I go?
Now, see, now that's what I'm saying, man. I'm going to start dropping some of our speakers down to listeners, y'all. Like, and y'all know I don't even do it like that, but I'm going to have to start dropping some of y'all down to listeners, man. Come on, man. Y'all turn this into.
I'm seeing everybody laughing up here.
Yeah, they laughing, but come on, man. Like, damn.
Now, I'm going to try to finish, but, you know, this guy, I don't know why this guy, I didn't know he was like that at first. He just started trolling me out of nowhere. I didn't know that he was like that. But anyway, moving on. I was lied on earlier by another troll that I got blocked. She said, she came in here and said I was calling black women bitches. Now, it's two ways that we can go about this. You can go back and listen to the space if we being honorable. You can go back and listen and see that I call black women bitches. Also, Newstoter ain't gonna let me sit in his space and call no black women no bitches. So that's fake. I don't know why y'all so weird about me, man. And at the end of the day, you dropped the ball. You were scared. That's what that was. You were scared. Don't try to hide behind black women. You were scared. You didn't feel worthy. You were scared. I would have stuck around back and I would have knocked her head off. You're right. You're right. I was.
Anyway, y'all tonight y'all are wilding up in the space or whatever. So I got what you were saying, Black Pressure. I got what you were saying, that this was a fine non-black woman. Like I say, when I came into it, when I came back, I heard Trouble speaking, but when it was towards the end, and I didn't hear any of that when she was talking about Harry Belafonte and his choices and women and stuff like that. But I knew that was going to be. I knew it was a matter of time before somebody was going to mention that too. I said, well, it's not. I say for everything that Harry Belafonte did, I know it's a matter of time before somebody actually say, you know what, Harry Belafonte, he married mostly white women and had a lot of mixed kids and stuff like that as well too. Harry Belafonte, people always compare him to Sidney Poitier, but Harry Belafonte was always out there on the forefront. Sidney Poitier, yeah, he may have been at the march on DC, but Harry was more the person. He was more of a mouthpiece, and he was more the one that actually pushed the actual agenda more so than Sidney. Yeah, Sidney donated his money, and I'm sure he donated some time as well too. But Harry was always front and center more so than Sidney Poitier was. Like, one of Sidney Poitier's classic lines was, I think when he won the best actor that time, was that when he said that he was a man first and he was black second or whatever. So that kind of always stuck with people as well too, that he said, I'm a man first and I'm black second. Now that's not to take away from Sidney Poitier's career and what he contributed and everything else, but to me, Harry was much more of a civil rights leader than I would say Sidney Poitier. Now that's not to take away from Sidney Poitier on the screen and stuff. And like I said, who knows what he contributed financially and stuff like that as well too. But in terms of not only the finances, but also being front and center, Harry Belafonte, he was out there. He did that kind of stuff. That was that was what he did. But I knew somebody was going to say. I was waiting. I said, "Damn!" Nobody's actually mentioned Harry Belafonte being married to white women. Quincy Jones. I would never compare Quincy Jones to anybody like Harry Belafonte. I'm just being real. Quincy Jones was a musician, and that's what Quincy Jones, focused on was music and stuff like that. And that's not to say he didn't contribute financially and stuff like that, but Quincy Jones was not gonna he didn't really stand up and say a whole lot of things that would be considered politically uneasy for a lot of white folks and stuff like that. So that just wasn't his cup of tea as well too. So I remember one time Quincy Jones was saying, when he was talking about the Cosby Show and how much he liked the Cosby Show, and he was saying that that he one thing he liked about the Cosby Show because they never played the race card on there. And I found that to be so funny because I'm like, well, now Quincy Jones was the producer of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had a couple episodes where they spoke about race and stuff like that as well too. But for the fact where he was like, well, he really liked the Cosby Show because they didn't play the race card and this and that. When I hear black people talk about the race card, it kind of makes me a little bit uneasy because let's be for real, it's not like black people developed the concept of racism and race and everything else like that as well too. So I would never, ever, ever, ever put Quincy Jones up there with Harry Belafonte. I see somebody on Twitter saying that Harry Belafonte was compromised. Say Harry Belafonte was fighting to get into white spaces, not for our cause, to have autonomy. I see. I mean,
people got mixed emotions about Harry Belafonte, man. A lot of people have mixed emotions, and his daughter. If y'all don't know who his daughter is, she was kind of out there with white men. Let's just tell like it is. Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry Belafonte.
Yeah, and she fine as hell, but she loved white men. Okay. So,
hey, you say hold on. We got a person, Gravella. You say bring you on the mic. All you gotta do is come over to YouTube. Come to the Twitter, because that's how you got to get on the mic. Come to the Twitter space, and you can gladly get on the mic over here. So, I'm not gonna shy away from you. Like, if you want to get on the mic, come over here to the Twitter space, and you can gladly get on this microphone. Request the microphone, and I will allow you to come up here and speak. You say, if I dare, like, you must definitely never been up in the Newstoter space. Bring the smoke. Bring.
That's what I said for Trouble. I don't think she was in here, but I think she's in here now. I don't know. She might have to go back and listen to it.
No, okay, but yeah, like I said, because I didn't even catch that part, so I didn't even see, I didn't even hear it, because that's what I was like sitting up here hearing you. I'm like, what in the hell is Black Pressure talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
Hey, Zeus, I might go back and say fuck that. I ain't gonna do that.
Hold on, we got real quick before Black Native come up. Let me say we got one person to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's see if we get a couple people to subscribe to the YouTube channel. DJ, go ahead and put the link over there because they want to know where to come at on Twitter. It's the Twitter space. It's a Newstoter Twitter space. I don't know if you've ever been on the Twitter space before, but it's a Newstoter Twitter space. If you come to the Twitter space, you will see us.
You gotta copy and paste the link yourself, like the share the link, like how you normally do it on Twitter, and then you should be able to paste it in the comments because if I do it, YouTube would erase it, but they'll let you do it though. You know what I mean? You the host or whatever. Go ahead.
They won't let you. Oh, they won't let you put it in there.
They might erase it, so it's best if you do it.
Try to put it in there and see what's up.
Yeah, I'm still trying.
If you can't do it, DJ, let me see if I can do it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. Even though it's on a live feed and everything, YouTube is real sketchy about what you put in the comments. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah, real.
I'll do it too. But go ahead.
Hey, real quick, guys. Like I say, go ahead if you can. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link is up in the jumbotron. It's a second to the actual left. It's a second to the left. Also, for those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. You're listening to the largest Black curator of Black news today in America. Once again, that is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Black Native, go ahead and unmute your mic, and then I'll get to you, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you, Newstoter. I've just been, sitting back, chilling, listening to the conversation. I chose not to bring up Harry Belafonte's interracial relationships, because I just wanted to kind of, stick to, what he did. But, I was going to bring it up, but I was like, somebody will bring it up in this space, so I'll just sit back and wait. And my sister Trouble brought it up. So he was initially married to a Black woman, I think, for 4 years. But after that, he was married to 2 different white women. I think his wife, I think she's 90, 89 or something. She's around almost the same age as him, but she's still alive because I was doing a little research on him when I heard that he had died. But I just want to shake the table up in the room a little bit. Black pressure. I appreciate you going into this whole long diatribe about how you was lusting at the El Salvadorian woman in a predominantly Black American space. We appreciate that so much. You really, want my heart as a Black American woman to hear that. And I believe all the Black American women in the space really appreciated you going on that long ass rant about a non-Black American woman. So I just want to give you a shout out for that.
She wanted me.
Hold on. Did I interrupt when you were speaking? I said I'm gonna come in here and shake some shit up. And Bubba Ran, I know you're not laughing because you did refer to women in these spaces as bitches because you said, oh my God, I don't know what's going on with the men in these spaces. They're so fucking weird. The bitches in these spaces don't be doing this to me like the men. So you did say that. And you should have. You did say that. You did.
I said the bitches in these spaces. No, I did not say that. You made that up. That was totally, you made that up. I said, bitches don't even be on me like this. It's recorded. I never said the bitches in these spaces. I never said that. I said these niggas act worse than these bitches. That's what I said. You made that up. You know you making that up.
And for the record, there are women that are bitches and hoes.
I agree with that. And for the record, set it up in this space.
Real quick. Yeah, real quick. Let's not even get into that conversation because it's just gonna escalate. So yeah, that if you want to hold a space like that another time, I don't even want to get into that. Go ahead, Black Native.
Well, let me just get on record real fast. For that El Salvadorian, when you go back to work, tell her send Bobo Rats a DM. I'm gonna sure how a real big black man handle anything. Just scary ass.
Oh wow!
Hey, you know what, bro? I would do it, but you have a vagina, so I can't do it.
Hey, Newstoter, we might want to go ahead and shut this one down.
Yeah, we about to go ahead. Yeah, because we went from, bro, I'm gonna let you get it, Black Native. We went from talking about some important issues and stuff to you know, a lot of craziness going on real quick, y'all. I don't know how we got to that point, but we definitely.
We're gonna have to go to DJ space.
Yeah, I'm just figuring go.
Right. I just want to say, Black women, Black American women, we have options too. Don't ever think we don't. But we do appreciate, you know, the love that you're saying that, you know, you're showing us. But you know, it is what it is. And Vovo, you know, he's community peen, so you know he gives it freely to anybody. So it is what it is. So don't sweat Black pressure, because he'll give it to, you know, Asians. He'll do it with East Indians. He'll do it with, you know, Vietnamese. Vovo don't care. As long as, you know, they show some attention, he'll give it up. You know, his penis is community penis. He told us that. So I'm just saying. But I'll go ahead and land. Thank you for allowing me to speak, Newstoter. Y'all have a good night.
All right, Black Native. Stephanie, go ahead. I'm gonna let you be the last speaker for the night.
Salute to you. Salute to everybody in the chat. I just want to say thank you for hosting the space. Shout out to everybody in the room. I just want to say this real quick. Rest in peace to Harry Belafonte. They did speak out. They did speak out for civil rights for Black people. So, you know, I thank them for their progress and, you know, how far we've come, even though we still have a long way to go. As far as Carolyn Bryant is concerned, there was supposed to have been a book that came out of her detailing the story of what really happened, but she didn't want to release it until the day after she dropped dead. So there's supposed to have been a book coming out and her explaining what really happened. And she is saying, and according to the biographer that wrote the book, is saying that she admitted that she was not truthful. So we want to be on the lookout for that. But I'm not going to spend one brown penny on her book. If I have to steal it and read it myself, I'll steal it, but I'm not paying for it. Honestly, I really don't even want to hear her story, her side of the story. All we know is that it's etched in stone for what happened to this young man. Meanwhile, she lived to be 88 years old, and this kid was robbed of his life. So, you know, she's not worth talking about. As far as I'm concerned, she can burn in the fieriest pit of hell as it can get, and I hope she gets tortured every moment of her natural afterlife. As far as Breonna Taylor is concerned, Breonna Taylor, it just breaks my heart because the story just does not get any better as far as her killers. Because I do know that one of them, I think it's Joshua Mattingly, one of them was trying to sue her family because they kept calling him a murderer, in which he is. So there's no lie to it. So, you know, he moved to Canada. He's want to write a book in which I hope the Taylor family just block it or file a lawsuit against it. Okay, getting back to Emmett Till, just one more thing. The husband of Carolyn Bryant, he was on his deathbed, and this was a story that was told. I don't know too many people that know about it, but he was on his deathbed, and he kept crying. He was in a hospice, and he was crying. He died back in 1980, and he was crying because he saw a little Black boy in his room, and he didn't know where this little Black boy came from. And the nurse kept going into the room and saying, "There's no little Black boy in this room." And he said, "Yes, he is. He's sitting right there." So, you know, he suffered before he died, and I'm sure that was Emmett Till that he saw before he closed his eyes and took his last breath. But I'm going to finish with that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate you coming into the space tonight and sharing that story with us as well, too, because I definitely never heard that before. So very interesting. And if he did see a little Black boy, I'm more than likely sure that's who it would have been right there. So thank you once again, and thank everybody for coming into the space tonight, guys. Thank you for sharing all of your observations and just your opinions and everything else, helping to add to the discussion tonight. DJ, you got your hand up. What's up?
No, I just wanted to chime in or whatever before you close out. I didn't want to be one of the ones that's coming up here late. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Rest in peace, Harry Belafonte. You already know what it is. He a real knacker. You know what I'm saying? Breonna Taylor. Rest in peace to that sister plus her family. Fuck the crack and knacker that fucking murdered her. You're a murderer. Sue me. Because if you try to sue me, I'm going to pull up to the court and just beat you up in front of the bailiff. And now I'm going to go to jail for real. You know what I'm saying? Now what you going to get from me? Nothing. I'm going to go do that time. You know what I'm saying? For whooping your ass. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you can sue me, murderer. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the charge. Let's see. Carolyn Bryant. I don't wish anybody dead or wrong. You up out of here, though. You know what I'm saying? That's all that fucking matters. You know what I'm saying? We tried to get you. We did our job. Shout out to FBA got us. I heard her up here earlier. We was on the hunt for this old hack. You know what I'm saying? We was really on the hunt for her. So I think moving forward, yeah, she's gone, but I don't think the fight should stop. We need to find out why, even more so, that, in the state of Mississippi, that you didn't enact this warrant that she had out for. Nobody brought that up. You feel what I'm saying? They went into the police station and went into the archive hall and found that shit. You know what I mean? So they already knew what it was back in 55. Why is it any different in 2023? Jalen Walker, Breonna Taylor, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner. Eric Garner's daughter died because of all the tragedy her father went through. Her heart couldn't take it. She wasn't even 30 years old. See that shit? So our fight ain't stopping. Just because the witch is dead, the evil witch of the West, you know what I'm saying, or the East or whatever. It is what it is. Now, back to what Leon was saying before, I'm not sure if any God of War fans up here. For those that are, y'all remember that I think it was in God of War, either 2 or 3, where the old man was being tormented by the hawk. And he just kept getting his insides eaten every day by the hawk. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the type of torture most likely she gonna go through. And I'm pretty sure that's the type of torture her husband or her brother went through on his deathbed, like Stephanie said. And shout out to you, Stephanie. Stephanie in the liquor store. Don't be mad, y'all. Don't be mad. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the liquor store. But at the end of the day, we got work to do. Reparations2023.com. Black State of America. I'm trying to get my motherfucking money. You know what I'm saying? I yelled in.
All right. Appreciate that, DJ. Black Pressure, real quick, go for a minute, and then we getting ready to close the space out.
Nah, it's not even gonna be that. Just y'all family. You gotta let us have fun sometimes. None of that shit I said, I'm serious about nothing I said. So just let you know.
Okay, real quick. Wilson, because we get Wilson. Hey, real quick, Wilson. Real quick, Wilson.
Yes, we do.
Hold on, real quick, Wilson, because we about to get ready to close it out, so you can go for a minute, sister.
Okay, hold on. I want to read you guys something, if you don't mind. Okay, I'm gonna read this to you. Do you mind if I read this to you?
It's pretty quick. Is it quick?
Well, I'm gonna say it as quick as I can.
60 seconds swing. Let's get it.
I'm gonna do this as quick as I can. I want you, in honor of Emmett Till and everybody that at the hands of white supremacy, I just want to read some names, and just in honor, and this memory means a lot to me. So here we are. So I just want to say the names: Freddie Gray, Dante Perez Jones, Laquan McDonald, Randy Cox, Tyree Nichols, Sandra Bland, Philandro Castile, Alton Sterling, Botham Jean, Manuel Tehran, Frederick Wilson, Rasheem Carter, Gershon Freeman, Khalil Azad, Jalen Walker, Terrence Crutcher, Anana E.J. Fitzgerald, Byron Williams, Pamela Turner, Javonna Walker, Cinzay Reed, Aaron Cole, Jordan Davis, Keenan Anderson, Cameron Lamb, Trayvon Martin, Sean Bell, LaDan Boykins, Rasheem Carter, Kendrick Johnson, Breonna Taylor, James Brissett, Stephon Clark, Ahmaud Arbery, Michael Brown, George Floyd, Elijah McCain, Ayanna Jones, Oscar Grant, Deanna Hale, Amadou Diablo, Jalen Randall, Michael Stewart, Mandiel Sanchez, Rakia Boyd, Bakari Henderson, Patrick Loyola, Khalif Browder, Walter Scott, Stephen Lawrence, Timothy Russell and Melissa Williams, Jonathan Farrell, Ramarley Graham, Emmett Till, Andre Hill, Dante Wright, Javier Ambler, Michael Ramos, Amir Locke, Clement Pickney. These were the people that were assassinated in South Carolina. Cynthia Graham Hurd, Gavin Kodak, Kira Dixon, Susie Jackson, Ethel Lance, DePayne Doctor, Tawanza Sanders, Daniel L. Simmons, Sharonda Singleton, Myra Thompson, Latasha Harlins, Atiana Jefferson, Henry Glover, Lavina Johnson, Ida Mae Collins, Carol McNair, Carol Robertson, Cynthia Wesley, Aaron Salter, Ruth Whitfield, Roberta Drury, Magnus Morrison, Andre McNeil, Geraldine Tolley, Catherine Massey, Pearl Young, Celeste Cheney, Haywood Patterson, Corinne Gaines, Christopher Dormer. These are the Martinville 7, and I'm almost finished, but they have to be acknowledged. Joe Henry Hampton, Francis Grayson, John Taylor, James Harrison, Howard Lee Harrison, Booker Milner, Frank Harrison Jr., Ronald Green, Cameron Jackson. And I could go on and on, but these are just the people that I put together who had, at the hands of white supremacy and race soldier cops, were murdered unjustly. And
Tamir Rice.
I did say Tamir Rice. That was he was there. It was just something that I put together, and I tell you, at one point, it was literally, and I'm not lying to you, on my father's grave, it was almost twice a week at one point. We have got to stop this white supremacy, and we have got to stop these cops from murdering our people unjustly. We have got to get this, guaranteed immunity. We got to remove that from the books, and we got to stop them from doing this to our people. We are not game. We are not a moving target for these people. And I land with that. Thank you so much for allowing me for saying that.
All right. Hold on real quick, DJ. Ray, I'm going to let you go ahead and be the last speaker for the night. So go ahead and get it in real quick.
5 seconds, man. I just wanted to say happy birthday to Mrs. Coretta Scott King, man. I don't know if that was mentioned in space.
Happy birthday.
Okay. Queen. Shout out. All right. Appreciate that, Ray. I didn't know it was would have been her birthday today had she been alive. So thank you for sharing that with the space as well, too. So, all righty. I guess on that note,
real quick. I know you're ready to close. So just to add in on that, twin, Najee Seabrooks of Paterson, New Jersey, was just killed by the Paterson police. Add him in there. Najee Seabrooks.
Text me. You have my number. Text me.
For sure. And don't forget about Atlu Luima and Akai Gurley, too, as well.
So, all right, we'll talk. You text me. You have my number. You text me.
For sure. No, I'm just adding it in because, just to add them in the reporter, to get their spirit up in there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I want it. So, I pray to them. And I just think about them all the time when I pray. And I do. On my father's grave, I do. I pray for these people. All right. Thank you.
All right. So on that note, y'all, we're going to get ready to close the space out for the night. We will see y'all. We'll be back tomorrow night, Friday night. So we'll have a Friday night space going on. So everybody check it out. Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be in the house tomorrow night, guys. So if you don't have anything to do and you just want to chill for a second, make sure you go ahead and check us out. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel. We had somebody subscribe to it, but then somebody unsubscribed. So go ahead and.
Did that other person pull up? I put the thing in the text. I don't know if you did it, but whatever.
They said it was on. They said it was on the profile page, but they wasn't sure how to actually get on the Twitter space. So that means they must have never been on a Twitter space before. So you have to just go ahead and come up here another time. Says I'm on your Twitter space and still don't see what you're talking about. Like I don't. What's your profile? Because I don't even see you on the Twitter. If you're on the Twitter space, did you enter the actual Twitter space?
It could be on the computer versus the app, bro.
Okay, are you on the actual app or the computer? Because I don't know. Because and matter of fact, we need another donation method. What kind of donation method you talking about, Mural? Because I mean, we got the Facebook and we got the I'm sorry, not Facebook, but the PayPal and the Venmo as well too. So those are the only one. I clicked on the YouTube link. I don't know where you're at because, like I say, we up in the actual in the actual description, Merle, you'll see in the description on the actual for the space for the actual you're on your computer. Yeah, I don't think you can get on here on your computer and talk. Am I correct? Or do you have to be on the actual phone?
You gotta be on the phone. On the application, it only works for the app.
You gotta be on the actual app. So you gotta be on the actual app. Gravella, you have to be on the actual app to go ahead. I know you say you're on the Twitter page, but you got to be on the actual app. And more than likely, you have to be on your phone as well too. So I don't think you can get on. I don't think you can do it on your computer. I don't see you in the space. Like I say, you would have to be on the actual. Like I say, sister, you would have to be on the actual app and your phone, if I'm not mistaken, as well too. So next time, just come. Yeah. She said, oh, okay. And Merle, up in the actual description, you'll see the actual links for the you got Cash App, you got Venmo, PayPal. So that's up in the actual description here on the actual live feed as well, too. So on that note, DJ, are you holding the space tonight or you not?
Round 2, let's go. But I ain't gonna be all night long with y'all now because I gotta get up 8 in the morning. So, but yeah, let's get it.
All right, y'all. So peace. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody be easy. And DJ's finna hold the space. So make sure y'all come through and attend that. So I'll see you guys over there in a little bit. Everybody be easy for the night.
Part two, family. Yay!
Peace.
God damn. Newstoter.